Welcome back to another Nextlander podcast, barreling through February here. The brakes are off. Can't stop it. It might be a short month, but it is a dense month if you are putting out video games. Alex Navarro, how are you?
I am the world's densest video game podcaster, so this is the perfect month for me.
That's right. The black hole of video game podcasting, Alex Navarro, we've always said it. Brad Shoemaker.
I'm the opposite. I'm full of air. Hot air. Haha.
I don't know how to respond.
Wait, I get it. That's pretty funny. Like I said, I'm a little dense.
You know you've really dropped a zinger when someone's response is to deadpan. That's pretty funny.
Wait, oh my God. Oh, wait, I need to tell you this story. And
okay.
I will say it as it happened to me so that hopefully maybe you guys could shed some light on this. Now, I don't think this is offensive as it was presented to me.
Always a great way to start a story. Let's go.
We went to the Outback yesterday, right?
Uh-huh.
We ordered some food. We had, sometimes you have a couple of servers that come by. Sometimes people have a big table comes in, and so somebody else comes through. And so our main server, I think, got fairly busy. And so somebody else was bringing our food out, and the person who came through, he was super nice. And at some point he comes out and he's like, hey, can I tell you guys an inoffensive joke? A joke, because he saw the kids there. He's like, and then he starts going through, like you said, Alex. I had the same reaction of like, oh, that's not a good way to start. He's like, it's a joke. It's not offensive or anything like that. He's like, I'm Hispanic. I speak Spanish, and I was born wherever. I was like, oh, okay.
There's a lot of qualifiers.
Yeah, setting it up. And then he goes, it's not offensive. I couldn't. My wife thinks he said he performs at a certain places. And I thought I heard him say this joke was told at a couple of places, which could have been the same thing. I did not get the sense that he was the performer. She got the sense that he was the performer.
Okay.
And that he was telling.
Vinny, you have to stop talking and tell us the joke.
Telling some joke. Well, I'm setting it up like he set it up, right?
Yeah, okay.
Because there's a wind up to this, right?
Yes.
And then he goes, did you hear about the new dating site for Hispanics? And I go, no. And he goes, Credit Karma. And I go, no. Because I don't get it.
I get it.
Do you?
It is a little offensive, probably.
What is the joke? Do Hispanic people have bad credit?
That does appear to be the joke that they are making, yes.
Is that the joke?
Apparently that was the joke, and you decided to tell that to your family.
I don't even get it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's not a great joke, even if you just, take the part that is the cultural aspect of it out of it and just say, I mean, that's halfway to a joke, but it's not really there.
Is it that Hispanic people with good credit are trying to meet on Credit Karma?
I guess.
I really spent about 5 to 10 minutes being like, is there some wordplay I'm missing in Spanish? Is there something going on here?
I would like to take this opportunity to remind everyone at home that despite my last name, I have no Hispanic heritage. Therefore, I do not have a particular cultural context for this or any foreknowledge of what is going on here. What I will say is that they should not have told you that joke at dinner at the Outback Steakhouse.
As not your primary server, this guy's not even working for tips. So what is he doing?
I think he was trying to entertain.
Trying to being the operative word here.
And so then after the joke goes, and clearly nobody at our table either gets the joke or finds it amusing.
No one is sanctioning this buffoonery, no.
He kind of was just like, okay.
Bye.
And walked away.
Okay.
And we did not see him again. And then I felt bad.
Yeah, you should.
And then I felt bad for being like, oh.
Tough audience.
Should we have laughed? Should we have been like,
tough crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should say, I guess it's possible maybe they all share tips for whatever tables they
I got a tip
wait
for you
together or something. So maybe he was just trying to goose it a little bit.
I got a tip.
I got a tip.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's
tip?
Know your audience. I don't know.
I was going to say seek traditional employment.
Okay, so I was very confused for the rest of our. Luckily, this was towards the end. I was very confused for the rest of our meal.
Yeah, you should be.
And so I was like, and then like, you know, I would be very quiet. And then I just don't get and she's like, you just got to let this go. I don't know. And I was like, I just don't get it.
Did your son have any thoughts on it? You know, being a comedy expert?
And yes. And he had the best explanation for it. In the car, he's like, what if he's a performer?
Okay.
And he tells this joke that makes no sense
to
the people while he's working tables.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's performing, he actually tells the joke of like, look, so I do this long wind up, and this is my son. I was like, this is a great explanation because this is actually funny. I do this long wind up where I say that I'm Hispanic and I can tell this joke and it's not going to be offensive. And I tell it to a bunch of people who are non-Hispanics to see if they laugh or not. And it's a nonsensical joke that has no connection. And I see if a bunch of people are just going to laugh and be like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess I should laugh at that politely. Or they just, stone face it. I was like, you know what? That makes more sense to me than anything else that has happened tonight.
It's still not good, but at least I can sort of admire the performance art like quality to it, I guess.
Right. If I were like, hey, I got a joke. Look, I'm Italian. It's fine. Like I could tell these jokes. And I go, did you hear about the new site for Italians? And I'm like, and then I go, Credit Karma. And you're just wondering, like, what the fuck does that mean? Okay, yeah, that's okay. Right. And then I go when I'm on stage, I'm like, it doesn't mean anything, but 50% of the people will be like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I get it. And then I go, you racist motherfuckers. Right? I could see a stand-up comedian doing that.
Sure.
The part where that's the whole thing, the bit, what we got on its face just doesn't make sense to me. Look, we've all worked in entertainment adjacent things for a while. It really bothers me when it's something just feels like it flies over my head and you don't understand what's happening.
I don't think it flew over your head. I think it just kind of flew around you because it just does not, it's not a thing that will ever connect.
I don't know that it had enough momentum to make it to your head.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. When I was leaving, I looked for that person because I wanted to ask them.
This is going to torment you, isn't it?
It really, but I wanted to be like, I'm sorry, I just don't get it. Could you just lay it out for me, please?
Like, this is a Seinfeld bit. This is a thing that happens at the beginning of a Seinfeld episode, and it torments Jerry through the entire thing. He's like, he told me the joke. I'm a comedian. I know jokes. I don't understand. I don't understand what he's trying to do. Is it racist? I don't know.
Is it like, am I not racist enough to get the joke? Because that's okay. If that's the case, then I'm okay with that. But I just kind of want to know what you're going for. That's it.
I can find absolutely no evidence of this joke on the internet, so I think you have encountered some original material.
The rest of the experience was delightful.
Yeah, it's fucking Outback. It's a contained experience.
What did you get?
Look, I'm trying to watch when I have a little bit, so I got the iceberg lettuce wedge, blue cheese wedge. That is mostly blue cheese. Look,
that's not actually helping you at all.
I go there for the bloomin' onion, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
a fried onion. Who doesn't love it?
Yeah. So once I'm knee deep in a bloomin' onion, there's not much else I could do if I'm trying to watch, how many calories I'm shoving in my face.
There's no nutritional value to what you just described there, right? Like fucking
I don't care
iceberg
about
lettuce
nutrition.
with a bunch of blue cheese on it.
I'm there for the blue cheese, not the iceberg lettuce,
Okay, well, that's not helping you with your health, is what I'm telling you. Blue cheese is not helping you.
I'm not saying it's a healthful meal. I have not gone to the Outback to eat if
you have, you are fucking up.
To eat a healthful lifestyle, and B, I guess, be entertained in a healthy way with the patter that is happening at the Outback.
If you know the secret at the center of this joke that somehow we have just glided right over, please tell us, because my God, this is going to haunt me now.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Well, joke dissectors, the Nextlander podcast, have been stumped here.
Yeah,
what else we got?
I'm just over here looking at pictures of the Alice Springs chicken.
Is that an Outback?
That is, in fact,
special.
Perhaps, is that the healthy Outback entree?
I think you could probably
it's grilled chicken
worse.
Breast.
I think you could do worse than Outback.
It's grilled chicken breast, topped with sautéed mushrooms, bacon, melted Monterey Jack, and cheddar cheese.
Okay, now you just pushed it up into...
Anyway, I think Japan might still be the last time I was in an Outback.
No kidding, really?
I'm pretty sure.
That's like 15 years ago.
Oh, more than that at this point.
Man.
There used to be one in Marin that I would occasionally stop off at when I was still living in the Bay Area or was around the Bay Area, but I'm not even sure it's still there anymore.
There was an Outback out in Chiba right near TGS. and some members of GameSpot were way into going to the Japanese Outback.
You know, there are like good Western style steakhouses in Japan that are not Outback, right? Like Ribera's out there. You can get a Ribera steak if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there are good Western style steakhouses in the United States that are not Outback. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to an Outback here and there.
Citation needed.
They still got what's the one the porter the
Ruth's
big
Chris?
No, not the Ruth's House of Prime Rib. That's what
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
I was going to say that, but I don't think that's probably doesn't qualify as a steakhouse.
Hopa, right?
I think Prime. Yeah, Hopper.
It's a meat house.
Hopper. House of Prime Rib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't call
think,
it a steakhouse?
I think Steakheads probably if those people exist, probably I think Prime Rib might be a different thing.
Really?
But I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, House of Prime Rib is also a very old school style restaurant, if I remember correctly.
I'm guessing
it's.
I'm guessing. Yeah, dude, House of Prime Rib is an all time classic, but it's probably down to cooking method if I had to guess, because I think you roast the whole prime rib all at once and slice it off.
You're doing it right.
Steaks are cooked individually, I think, is probably the distinction there.
Have you gone there in the near?
I haven't been in ages. It's as always is impossible to get a table in there. I mean, you have to.
For real?
It's still very popular.
Have to get reservations for sure.
I also just don't eat much red meat anymore. Like I've really cut down. I the occasional hamburger, that is usually it. A very rare steak, but and I don't mean rare as in like the I'm more of a medium rare kind of guy, but still, it's just like I just don't consume that much of it anymore because I am perfectly happy mostly eating chicken and seafood, you know?
Yep, same.
They probably have red meat. We have that CSA from...
It's not a never. It's just not that often.
They'll throw like a flank steak or something in there.
Mm-hmm.
I typically don't eat all day before this podcast. So.
Well,
this is rough for me.
Let's feast on some video games. How about that?
Let's start beefing.
Yeah, let's feast on the games that we played. I'm going to start with a game that just came out that I mostly spent my time in, and that is the new God of War game, that hot new God of War joint.
Ew.
Shadow dropped? Are we using that term still? Is that?
Yeah, I think this qualifies.
It's a fun term to use. This was announced at the State of Play and then released shortly thereafter. It had one of the best, well, not it, the kind of God of War remake. We'll talk about the State of Play kind of later.
Yeah,
had one of the most fun intros.
Mm-hmm.
But
that one maybe the trilogy maybe had the most fun thing in it.
But the God of War Sons of Sparta is a 2D or pixel-esque, I'll say, because I think it's actually 3D models in there, but it is it is
a 2.5D.
It is evoking a pixel-esque Metroidvania in its presentation, and it certainly plays kind of like a Metroidvania. I just am finding out that maybe I am really attracted to these types of games. This is the one that I spent after playing it on Friday the most time in, and I just like running around collecting a bunch of stuff to get access to new areas, and then I like seeing an area being like, wow, what am I going to get to be able to climb that wall? How am I going to get a double jump? What are they going to do for here?
Is it a good one of those, and is it like doing anything out of the norm for one of those?
So I think those are two separate questions. I'm going to say the first is, I think it is completely competent and decent. I'm enjoying my time in it. Is it a good one of these? Sure, it is. It is. I'll say it's an okay one of these so far. I only have about 6 or 7 hours in, maybe ish that. Is it doing anything new? Not really. It's pulling in God of War DNA.
Okay, so that's like the real question, because this is like young Kratos.
Yes.
Yep.
This is pre. How do you want to describe it? Like
he's like a tween.
I guess like pre-Ashen Kratos, because the gist I got. It's been a long time since God of War started. The gist I got from chat when we were streaming this on Friday is that like, is it the ashes of his family that make him that color?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like his family is burned up and then the ashes stick to his skin or something?
It was one of his eternal torments.
It's grim like that. Anyway, it's before all that, right? It's a very young Kratos before any of that happens.
Before he was tricked by Ares.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of was wondering how God of War this actually feels.
If you want to go one step more morbid, I believe it is an older Kratos telling the story of his youth to the daughter that he winds up slaughtering and wearing the ashes of.
Great.
So, I think
again, it's an accident. He doesn't mean to kill his family, but
so It is the story of him as a young Spartan and his brother, I think, not by birth, but I don't know the whole lineage of Kratos and his family, but they are together in this looking for another young Spartan who has gone missing. That is the setup for this. The DNA comes in terms of the modern God of War games. Your loot is very similar to modern God of War games, where you got like your spear, your shield, your belt, your what have you, and then you collect resources to upgrade those in a very similar fashion to what you would be doing in a more modern God of War game. You're collecting orbs, red orbs pop out of chests, other color orbs, be they, I assume, yellow. There might be a green orb in there. You're asking a colorblind person to talk about the color of these orbs. There's certainly some kind of bluish purple orb that flies around quite often. You have a magic meter, stamina meter, and a health meter. And you're getting weapon abilities like you would in a modern God of War game that are tied to the weapon upgrades you're getting. Hey, if you put this one on, it causes freeze damage. If you put this one on, it causes poison damage. With this one on, you get this other ability. With this one on, you don't, etc., etc. And that's very God of War. The other God of War stuff, so this is obviously in the Greek pantheon, not in the Norse pantheon.
This is the classic, yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting your Metroidvania style upgrades by favors of the gods, like you would have in the original God of War, like where you're like, hey, suddenly you rip the head off of this person, except now you're not ripping the head off, you're getting a favor, and you can turn things to stone, right? Or you can, the head of Apollo shines light out of it. Do you remember that stuff from God of War? Yes. So you're getting things that are favors of the gods that let you traverse and move and so on and so forth from different temples, which I really like. I'm a fan of that stuff. It's just enough narrative flavor to keep me going and wondering what's going to happen next. Combat's okay. It's not like
what I saw that looked like functional.
It looked fine from watching you play it.
This is not Hollow Knight. This is not Silk Song. It is not a brutally demanding action game.
I would not have expected that from the makers of Renfield.
Right. Yeah, this is Mega Cat. I didn't realize this game's $30. That's like,
I don't know the scope of it.
Far from full price, but also like kind of fairly substantial for a downloadable game, I feel like.
I mean, the thing they seem to do is they take these license things that they are given and they turn in pretty decent genre exercises around that. Like their Renfield game was actually totally okay. It was a Vampire Survivors, a shameless Vampire Survivors clone, but it did it well enough that like I wasn't that mad at it. And that's kind of how I feel. It seems like people feel about this is that it's doing it well enough that I'm not mad they did this. It's just maybe not necessarily what everyone is looking for more God of War.
Yeah. Also, it kind of feels like, we'll get to it more in the news, like they had other God of War announcements and they did mention like, hey, we're kind of they were like, we're at the tail end of God of War's 20th anniversary year is how they put it. So they've got multiple God of War things going on is the point, and it feels like this is just another one of those, it's just like, let's do a downloadable game as well as some other stuff and make it synergize.
Yeah, I imagine this was a relatively low spend for them to get this thing going.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it is done well enough to keep me going. The loop drips consistently enough to keep me going, even though I don't think it is actually doing anything novel in the space. It is well done enough. The presentation is also well done enough to keep me moving and going. And I've hit a couple of little bugs is maybe even too strong a word. Hiccups in it. There was a thing that happened where I was doing a challenge trial and I died right as I beat it. And it locked me out of getting the reward for that. Granted, the reward was probably just some upgrade materials, but that sucked, right? I had done it. I died. I would have rather had the option to just do it again, but I kind of got locked. When I respawned, the challenge was beaten and the reward wasn't there.
That's, I don't know the word for that. Infuriating.
Yeah.
That makes me angry enough that I kind of want to stop playing the game when something like that happens.
So I think there were just some crafting materials because I've done other ones.
Yeah, okay. If it's not a unique thing that you can't get some other way, it's not as big a deal.
I think I would have, if it were unique, I think I would have just tried to immediately reload from another save. A lot of voice acting in the game. Not all of it's great, but it is okay. I think in terms of one of these, I'm probably just going to keep going. it's just not demanding. It doesn't ask, and it can just pop it on and go. Map system, decent. I'm not sure which Metroidvania game did this. It might actually be Metroid. Maybe it was Dread. Would show an icon for what power-up you needed for certain areas when you encountered them. Because I don't like the Breath of the Wild style map system where you have like chest, skull, exclamation point, question mark. And you're like, this is a jump I'm going to need some kind of double jump for. I need to be able to put that on the map. Otherwise, I'm going to get a power-up and not remember why I put a treasure chest icon here.
Right. Come
back and be like, oh, that's not the right power-up. You know? Like, they let you color code them, but that's not as helpful to me versus being able to just literally write double jump needed, idiot. Or you're going to need the thing that makes the invisible platforms visible. Like, right. I know it's coming. God of War Sons of Sparta, PlayStation 5, if you...
into that sort of thing.
Well, if you had to guess. Totally fine. $30. I like it.
No PC, huh?
I did not see any PCs slated for this. I wouldn't doubt if it come to. I
could see it. They've put the recent God of War games on PC.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about what God of War has in stock a little bit later in the show. But that's mostly where I spent my time, aside from being wildly entertained out in Outback.
Right.
Should we take a break and come back, talk more video games? There's a lot going on. I feel like I'm falling behind already with the February releases here. There's a lot coming out, so let's talk more video games right after this. This week's show is brought to you by Quince. Alex and Brad. You know what I like?
What?
Wearing clothes.
First time hearing about this, but I'll take your word for it.
Despite what our viewers have seen for years and decades, I do wear clothing. And I need to wear this clothing multiple times in my lifetime. And I need to afford to sometimes buy new clothing. You know who's got my back? Quince!
Wow.
And it's just fun to say. Quince says, a well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what I say about podcasts, too. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, everyday staples that feel easy to wear, easy to rely on, even as the weather shifts. Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middlemen, so you're not paying for brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. Plus, they only partner with factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. You guys know what I got from Quince?
What'd you get?
Don't. A yak wool sweater. Wow. You know how many yak wool sweaters I now own?
One.
From Quince.
Yeah.
I didn't know I lived a yak wool sweater lifestyle until I ordered from Quince. It was affordable, and I'll tell you what, yak wool is pretty dang comfy.
Sounds like it would be.
Sweater. Yeah. Alex, what did you wind up wearing?
There was lots to choose from. I decided to go with clothing that fit my sedentary home-based lifestyle. I got a very nice pair of sweatpants and sweat shorts, which I'm just going to say are the fuzziest and softest of those that I own now.
Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Nextlander for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's QUINCE.com/Nextlander. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Nextlander. Thanks, Quince. All right, we are back. And before we get into some of the stuff we've been playing on our own, I just remembered a thing. Speaking of things maybe I sometimes don't get, we played an FMV game called Heart of the Forest.
Oh, man.
And I love Wales Interactive. I love that they put out FMV games on the regular. I love that they're out there just doing it.
Yep, doing the work.
Doing the
work. Or
work.
at least funding the work.
Alex, what were your impressions of Heart of the Forest so far?
What if you made Netflix's The Ritual, but did it at about 1/10 of the budget and 1/20th of the creativity?
Okay, I don't know The Ritual.
It's about 4 guys who go hike into a European forest and then bad, spooky shit happens to them.
That was my first horror movie of my October run last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That we talked about a bit.
Like, it's in that Blair Witch, The Ritual kind of mold of pagan forest horror and things like that.
Actually, yeah, when we did the Planorama and saw some footage of that, The Ritual was the first thing I thought of when I saw that footage.
But the problem is, it is about 4 personalities who have almost none. It is about a very confusing slate of possible witchcraft and demonic shit and whatever, which I think the game is getting around to finally explaining for as far as where we are. But the first half of the game is just inexplicable. Like, the way people are behaving, the way they're talking to each other, I think it's partially a problem of editing, because it sometimes feels like they have cut pieces of conversation out that are not necessarily like path differences, but are literally just like they edited it down to such a degree that it feels like half the conversation is missing.
Mm-hmm. And the time jumps feel weird.
And there's time jumps, and also the people are not interesting for the most part. There's like one character who I think has like a little bit going on. It's kind of the lead woman who is either German or British or
Laura.
Both. Laura, yeah. The other girl is like at least a decent like face actor, but her character has nothing going on. And the 2 dudes are just fucking limp noodles, man. Like, there's nothing going on with those guys.
Now, this seems like, and it also seems like from what was being told to us by third parties in the chat, this is not a big budget game.
No, I can tell.
I would not have guessed it was a big budget game. And again, my heart goes out for anyone who makes it an FMV game, but the level of interactivity here is pretty low.
It's a borderline non-existent.
The choice is also, I'm just not sure what I'm deciding is coming back in what way, right? Sometimes it doesn't feel like I'm having an impact, though I'm sure some of these things would be different. It's just hard to see right now. And there is a tree you can look at later on. We'll look at that next time we play it. But it's just incoherent and not that engaging. I'm just not curious enough to know what is happening to these people who constantly seem like they are making the worst Scooby-Doo choices they could possibly make. It is one of those games, Brad, where it just seems like you have 4 people in the woods. One of them is always peeling off to be like, hey, what's over here? And then another one will be like, where'd Nick go? I'm going to peel off to go find Nick. And
I'll do you one better. It's like every decision in that game is some version of split the party. Like, there is no version of it where you aren't doing that.
People make dumb decisions under duress, though.
Yeah, but these guys, like, you have to at least be rooting for them, I think, for this kind of story to fly. And I'm actually rooting for the supernatural force to kill them all.
Fair.
There is a point in that game where it's fairly early on. Again, we only played for about 2 hours, so fairly early on in the game where somebody has gone missing extremely early. Somebody split off to go into a cave for some reason for extremely early. And they're deciding whether they should stay or leave. Stay, search for them, leave, go get help, right? Those are the options. And like a scene later, they're at a stream. All their canteens are empty. They clearly have no water. And they're talking about, oh my gosh, to survive in here, do we need to fill up our canteens with this stream water? Is it clean enough to drink? And it feels like they've been in the woods for about 10 minutes by that point. They all have like full backpacks.
But of what happened? Who knows?
I don't know. And then, obviously something happens with the water and et cetera, et cetera. But like, are you not prepared for this at all? What are we doing?
It sure seems like it. And the other thing is that, like, they're setting it in the Black Forest in Germany, and I know it's a big forest, and people have certainly gotten lost in the Black Forest over the years, but it's a major tourist attraction. People are going through there all the fucking time, and these inexperienced hikers, I have to imagine, would reasonably stick to a normal path or trail somewhere along this way, except for the supernatural forces or whatever. So it's like, are just dozens of people dying in that forest like every fucking day? What are we doing here?
All right, one more thing, Brad. There is it is supernatural stuff, and again, they have a wide but thin spread of supernatural, right? Like nothing is very deep, but they're doing a lot of tropes, and one of those tropes is doppelganger, right? but the doppelganger threat in this seems to always manifest as the most chipper version of the other person who was moments ago freaking out, and people don't seem to pick up on it in the game very quickly. So it goes from somebody being like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? We have to go find Nick. Next scene, that same person's back is like, hey, how are we doing? Like, okay, you seem better. I'm doing great. Should we just like walk around for a while and have fun? And the other characters not being like, you're like a skin crawler. You're wearing somebody's skin is infuriating, because we as the audience are like, that is not the same person.
No, because they're not good enough actors to subtly deliver either version of that character. They can only do the most outsized versions of them.
Now that's a problem. That's an actual problem, as opposed to, isn't dumb protagonist just yet another trope that they might be leaning into?
Might be.
But not in like a way that feels like it makes their story fly. Like it feels like they are just taking every shortcut they can with these characters to get you to the next supernatural event.
Sure.
Anyways, long way of saying, I love it. We're going to play more of it.
Okay, great.
Give me more FMV.
Great.
Now, yeah.
Here's what I will say. Whales Interactive, they throw a lot of darts at boards. They don't always hit. They fund a lot of, like, this is a studio called, I think, like Trapped Predator or something. I don't know if they've made other FMV games before.
Wait, is Whales just the publisher?
Whales does self-produce stuff as well, but they have also published other people's, like, developed FMV games.
I thought they developed all of their stuff themselves. Interesting.
I do think they are funding some independent projects as well. But so, like, I don't know the history of the studio. I don't know if they made other stuff, but this does not feel like a hit for me.
I think they made one other game. I'm seeing right now. Astrid Reverie.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see how it all wraps up. Maybe they nail the landing. We'll see. A couple of clever shots in it. Again, very happy FMV still seems to be a thing out there. Moving on from that, let's get back into some other things like Menace. Now, Alex, I think you're going to have to do a little setup work here for Menace.
So Menace is a game that is in early access as of now. I forget how much it is, if you wouldn't mind looking it up real quick for me.
Sure,
as I
$40.
describe it. $40.
Yeah, 30 on Steam as a sale for the next, that sale will be over by the time you hear this, actually.
Okay. But it's on Epic. It's on Steam as well. And it is the quickest analog I can throw to is XCOM. Specifically, it is it's not auto-generated like random characters that it's throwing at you, but there's like these different squad leaders that are essentially like your generic soldier, like space soldier type people. You throw them into these missions, like there's a map screen that is like a bunch of different star system or planets around a star system, and you're going to them and you're doing series of missions over the course of a campaign. The missions are, bug hunts, space pirates, all that kind of shit. They dump you on a map. There's cover systems. You are trying to go after the enemies, and there's a series of objectives like, hey, you have to hold this point and recapture the zone, or you have to kill X number of enemies from here, or you need to rescue these civilians before they all die, that kind of thing. And then the basic idea is you are controlling these units, and the units, each of the named units, has a bunch of grunt enemies that all carry the exact same equipment as your main character. And you can outfit these characters with like different guns, different armor types, side weapons, other abilities, things like that as you go along. And it's a tactics game. It's a turn-based tactics game where you're just going around, you are trying to achieve these objectives while not getting all your people killed.
Yeah, and I know it's turn-based, but looking at the screenshots, like the first thing that comes to mind is actually like Company of Heroes.
Sure.
Like the presentation, but that's a real-time game, so it's not definitely not a great analogy, but it's
squads.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like the camera is way out, so the people are tiny, and yes, it looks like you're selecting entire squads as a unit. Is that right?
So basically, you can decide how many people you are dumping into each unit. I think at the outset, it is like you have 8 possible soldiers you can throw to each squadron commander. And those die during the thing, and so you'll have to replenish them in between missions. There's also a ship element, like you can build upgrades for your ship that I think will give you bonuses when you go down to do your missions. But again, it's in early access right now. It seems reasonably robust so far. The main thing is the gameplay seems like it basically works as it's intended to. The thing I haven't seen is the stuff from the trailer where like you get mech suits and like bigger vehicles and things like that.
I'm just waiting to say the word mech because there's some like mech warrior looking ass mechs in here.
So you get the ability to, like, there are vehicles, like, in your inventory. I have not really used them much. The mech suits have not really appeared yet. I'm not sure if they're in this build yet or if that's just something you get later in the game. But the main thing is the tactics seem reasonably good. I was playing on kind of the default difficulty. The AI is not, like, amazing. I mean, the enemy AI, but, like, it has just enough going on under the hood, at least on the default difficulty, that it doesn't feel like you can just run into open cover without cover and not get shredded. You know, like, they are good enough to figure out the basics of, like, okay, they're not in cover, let's just all swarm on this guy.
So you got to use your tactics.
Got to use your tactics and got to use your cover effectively. And the maps are not overly creative or robust, but they are exactly what you would expect for these, like, space outposts. There's a tundra planet, there's an Earth-like planet, there are desert-like planets, like that kind of thing. So it's just those kinds of environments with a lot of, like, you know, like, sort of like space station and outpost bric-a-brac around.
Is there
this looks cool.
bug planet?
There are bugs. I mean, I've mostly been fighting bugs in this campaign. The first one I started out, which I kind of bombed out on immediately, was space pirates. I don't know if they throw you different enemy types depending on the campaign, or if it's like you only do these for this one, or you do these for this one, or what. But, like, it seems like there's a little bit of variety there.
This looks neat.
Is the campaign like a story-based campaign, or are you just kind of going through a run?
There's not really story. Like, there are these little story moments that will pop up. Like, I got a thing where, like, a group of people who were, like, survivors of a research colony were, like, begging for help, and then the Space Corp is like, actually, you could give us those people back. That'd be cool. And then you decide what to do, and you get a bonus or a gain an item or something, depending on which decision you make. You know,
Okay,
like,
so
that's
kind of like
about as
mission
much story. Yeah, it's just kind of like randomly generated mission stories.
Okay. But again, you said early access. I don't know if their roadmap would have something different.
Yeah, I haven't looked too deep into their roadmap. I just kind of wanted to see if, like, there was enough here to recommend it kind of at the outset. And it feels like there is enough there, at least at the start, to, like, give you the sense of what this game is.
Straight up just found a user review that says this game is like if Company of Heroes or Dawn of War got made into a turn-based game.
So, okay.
So that is a pretty strong pitch to me.
Menace, available on a bunch of PC platforms.
This seems like something I would like to check in on when it's done.
Yeah.
But then I also feel like every time I say that, by the time something is done, like, it's so far in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, you've moved on. Yeah.
Hard to get to, so it's...
This one feels sticky enough to me that I will probably keep checking in on it at least, like, every month or so to see where it's at or when there's big updates, because it's fun. It's the kind of strategy game I tend to like.
We plan to remain in early access for a year. So
yeah, smart. It feels like there's more to add to this for sure.
It's funny. I don't know what when I just said that about not going back to early access games, like Cataclysmo is one that I really wanted to get into when it came out, and then never got around to. That is also published by the same publisher as this.
Yes, Hooded Horse. All right, that is Menace. Be a menace. Be a menace on your PC.
A damn menace.
Don't be a menace.
To Brad to your
menace
PC.
to
don't be a menace
society.
To South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Wow,
there you go.
Wow, deep cuts. Don't be a menace to your native console.
Your Dennis.
Okay, great. Avowed on PS5.
I have spent some time with Avowed on the PlayStation 5.
Yes.
As longtime listeners of this podcast will know, I have been eagerly awaiting a version of Avowed on the PlayStation 5.
Well, did it live up to your slightly enhanced expectations? Well, this has had some other stuff coming along with it.
Yeah,
right?
so the I think they called it the anniversary update that came out alongside this, which adds like new playable races and a bunch of other new content. That's just free on all platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for everybody. I was hoping for two things out of Avowed on the PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Better graphics. We've got the PlayStation 5 Pro now.
Yep.
Which is, significantly better than the Xbox. And I was like, all right, it'd be cool. It's a great looking game. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game. I was like, man, this game's got great art. It would be cool to see a better looking version of this on a more powerful console. The other thing I was hoping for was save imports from the other platforms. Because I put at least 30 hours into the Xbox version, if not more. I have news about the PlayStation 5 version of Avowed.
Yeah.
So I looked at the Digital Foundry breakdown of this thing graphically just to like check myself and like really look at the numbers based on their analysis. They did like next to nothing to this game for the PS5 Pro.
Okay.
Like at all. Like it is practically the same game, even on a Pro. Bummer.
So if you're coming to this looking for a bit of a graphics upgrade, it's not noticeable.
Yeah, the one thing I literally side by sided them. I booted up the Xbox version and loaded the same area to compare. It seems like if you unlock the frame rate on the Pro, it is smoother than it is if you do that on the Series X.
Okay.
Like it felt like it was getting, but that's the type of thing where if your TV needs VRR, you know, to be smooth. So that's only relevant for like very modern TVs.
Mine does
anyway.
not.
Yeah. So it seems slightly smoother in one very specific configuration. That's about it. Ask me about the save import.
Dude, what is up with the save import?
It doesn't have one.
Stop it. I can't. I don't believe you.
At all.
I don't believe you. You're a
I believe
liar.
it. No, I believe it, actually.
Like, honestly, like 5 seconds into realizing it doesn't have one, I just immediately felt naive for thinking that it might have one. I was just like really taking their everything is an Xbox messaging in the most maximal sense.
How is that possible?
Well,
in today's day and age?
I get it. You know, like they just didn't build it in for whatever reason. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. I mean, Avowed is a great game. Number 10 on my Game of the Year list last year. Like if you only play games on a PlayStation 5 and want a first-person fantasy RPG, Avowed is a very good game. Like, I should not say, you know, if you're in the exact situation where this game would fit the bill for you,
yeah,
play it. Like, it's cool. It's a very good game.
But no cross save?
No. I really hoped that there would be some login to your Xbox accounts in this game thing to import your save, but there is not. Again,
you hurt Vinny. You wounded him.
Again, that may have been naive to expect. I don't know. But just know that if you were to play this game on the PS5, you'll be starting over, which again is perfectly fine for PlayStation 5 owners.
Right. Okay.
But if say you were looking to pick your save back up from last year, like frankly, at this point, I just need to get my damn Moonlight setup fixed and working, and then just play the PC version, which does allow your save to be imported from the Xbox.
On the Steam version, or
yeah,
on
like the Steam version can import.
Will pull it in
your save from the Xbox.
Hubba.
Anyway,
okay.
there's my Avowed report.
Okay. And then again, like you said, this has all the new stuff, the New Game Plus, and all the
it's got New Game Plus and all the new playable races and all the anniversary stuff built in.
Good. I'm over it. I was a little shaken.
Yeah,
I've recovered.
Yeah, same boat, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I just immediately felt kind of like a sucker for thinking that would be in there.
It just doesn't feel very modern.
It feels like it could have been in there.
Yeah,
but you're right. It is not a guarantee these days.
They definitely could have built that feature, and like who knows what budget this port had. Like they could have been on a shoestring budget to get this version out, and that may just have been out of scope for the resources they had. I don't know. But I really though, like it would be nice. Like, I mean, you tell me.
Yeah.
This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox.
Yeah.
If they're all Xboxes, it feels like they should all interoperate.
You would think.
I haven't.
That might be next gen.
But you know, it's not a multiplayer game. Like it's not like they're disallowing cross play, you know, cross platform matching, save progression sharing and stuff like that. Like it is a single player game. I get it. But
anyway.
But I think you broke Vinny.
No.
A nice to have, but perhaps not a deal breaker.
Well, okay, fine. I'm sure. I don't know why Avowed. Probably for the same reason as you, Brad. I really liked Avowed, and this was giving me new life, and I would have gone back to it. I guess those other ones, like Indiana Jones, probably doesn't have cross progression in it, and you know, I'm sure some of those other.
Actually, I don't know that it does.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, I haven't played. Like, see, I didn't play Indiana Jones at all on Xbox, so I'm starting fresh on PS5 with that anyway. Like, this was just a rare. And maybe this is why. Maybe there's next to nobody who actually wants this. How many people are in this position of playing 36 hours of the game on an Xbox and then wanting to pick that save up on a PlayStation? Probably.
It is an unusual thing.
Yes.
That is fair.
But
yeah, I'm wondering if people who know more. I guess I can go look it up for all the PlayStation ports from the Xbox at this point? Which ones have had it, if any?
Yeah, that's the thing, is I certainly have not done a comprehensive survey
Yeah.
of what does and does not have it, but also like this is it's the exact same kind of edge case that a good generalized solution is tailor-made for. You know, it's like you build the platform so that all game you can build this in trivially in all games, then they all have it.
Maybe Sony doesn't want it on there.
But
Get
that is
your
also
dirty hooks out of here.
That is also entirely possible.
Also, I think there's something about like a RPG with cross progression that feels.
Yeah, I think that might be the real thing. Is
Yeah.
like, hey, this is. I know it's not as long as a Skyrim or like, you know, it relatively. Although I sure did put a lot of hours into that first major area. Like, for how many people said like, hey, this is a shorter one of these types of epic fantasy RPGs. I was like, I don't know. Based on how much time I've put into it and where I'm at in the story, this is sure still looking like another 80-hour game. I don't know.
What if there was a weird workaround where the PlayStation version allowed you to import your save from your Steam version? So you get it on Xbox, and then do you know if the Xbox goes to Steam, or is it one way? You said it was the other. You can go
think
from
it's both ways.
both
If I
ways?
recall, so
Okay.
I did this last year. I tried the Steam version as well, and I think you sign into your Xbox account in the Steam version,
and you hook together,
and then the saves just go back and forth, if I'm not mistaken. And of course that would work with the like Microsoft Store version on PC as well.
right? So like, what if you can hook it in? What if somehow the PS5 was like, we'll play with Steam all day?
What if?
You
What
can,
if?
Anyway, Avowed on PS5.
Nothing will ever compare to the Mass Effect 2 and 3 situation that I had, at which point people had cracked open the Xbox like save format. Like 360 hacking was far enough along by the time I played Mass Effect 3. Because I remember you could use USB sticks on the Xbox to store saves on. So you could just put your Xbox saves on a USB stick and then use whatever like hacking tools were out at that point to crack those open and get at the GUI nougat center of the Xbox save file packaging format and get the actual save files out. And it turned out those save files for Mass Effect worked just fine on the PC version of Mass Effect. So I was able, that's how I used a save editor to recreate my Mass Effect 2 save that I lost, package it back up as a 360 save, go back in and load that and use that to import into Mass Effect 3 on the Xbox.
What a world.
Mass Effect always ahead of its time.
We need to return.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go back.
We just don't need all the Mass Effect will always be the one. I think it was 2 was the ridiculous one with the retailer exclusive DLCs that broke me.
I think that was 3.
Was it
wasn't
3?
I think that was 3. I think that was 3.
Oh, now I'm questioning it. I'm pretty sure like the ones that like buy Cool Rancher Doritos if you want this armor, buy Mountain Dew if you want this.
I was even thinking more of the like, did you pre-order at GameStop because that'll
might
get
also
you the
be the
dragon armor, or if you pre-order
They may have
here.
done it for both, actually.
Maybe that was both. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
I do remember that happening, but I can't remember exactly which one.
Because at that point I remember in my mind, at least initially, it might have changed later on. It was like, well, fucking A, like I'm not pre-ordering this game 6 times. I'm gonna go with one. But you need to be able to at least offer the other armors as something. I
feel like there was some way to game that, and I don't remember what it was.
I remember people sending me a code, being like, "Hey, I have a code."
That may have been how I gamed it. Was like very politely asking listeners, "Hey, if you got an extra Doritos code, let me know."
Or like pre-order code.
And I think they might have just opened all that stuff up for everybody eventually. And
I think you might be right.
And I'm pretty sure the Legendary Edition has all of that stuff built in.
You know,
also.
maybe, I don't know.
How is this? I feel like it's like a 1 in 5 chance every episode of this podcast that we're just going to end up talking about Mass Effect for 10 minutes.
It's a great game. All right. So that is Avowed on the PS5, along with the kind of, did they have a name that you mentioned for their update? They're like,
I think it's the anniversary update is the name of the new content. Avowed, a very Mass Effect-like game, as we've said before.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because it has literal Garrus in it.
And one of the, I feel like, capstone ports from the Xbox to the PS5, the kind of last thing holdout of the modern Xbox games. I don't know if they're going to bring
oh, you mean before everything just starts like simultaneously shipping on both?
Kind of going back, aside from, Halo Infinite or, but, feels like most of the last year modern things are now on PS5. When did I'm sorry if this touches a nerve with anybody, but what was the Red Storm Red.
Oh my god, I could have told you the name until you asked what it was, and now it has deleted it from my mind.
What was
It's the arcane game.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? Redfall.
Redfall is that's not coming over to anything anytime
Absolutely
soon.
not.
If those words are ever uttered again, is on accident. I'm telling you.
All right.
I think Redfall may have deserved better. I don't know.
Can you still play it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes.
you can get into a match.
Yes, I have a pet theory that if I were to go back to fully updated Redfall, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, we could test it. We always test that theory.
Yeah.
Science could happen.
Good use of time? Well, I don't know.
What is a good use of time these days?
I've got maybe an arguably better use of your time, Brad, and that is to spend more time with Species Unknown.
Yeah, man, that game is so good.
Early access. I am curious if that game is just tuned very well for certain things, or if there's some kind of cinematic director going on. But we had some really great movie-esque cinematic moments of running to the ship with a monster right behind us. Close the doors. You know?
That is the phasmophobia in space that we talked about last week. So it's the kind of thing of you go into a mission and don't know which monster you're going to get. Kind of have to do detective work to figure out which one you're up against and how to fight it, or evade it, or blow up the ship, as the case may be. But yes, like two major nail biters in one stream.
Yeah. It was kind of cool. There was Alex. There was a mission where there was a deadly robot that sucks the brains out of everyone, right?
But it was like a cute robot.
It was kind of cute.
It was basically a personality sphere from Portal 2.
Yeah, kind of
is what it looked like.
It was large,
kind of a giant plastic floating eyeball looking robot thing.
But to get around it sucking your brains
robot.
Corrupted robot
is how they describe it.
To get around it corrupting your brain by sucking it out, you had to make sure more than one person was always in its field of view. So if you were off solo, it would attack you.
If it could only see one person in its field of view, it would go like deranged, rampant, whatever, and turn red, and then a big giant needle would come out and suck your brain out of your forehead.
But if somebody else is right next to you or in its field of view, it was just stare at you for a little bit and then go off.
And the audio cue every time it would drop out of the duct behind us and roll up on us is like just subtle enough that you could kind of start to miss it.
Yeah.
Especially because on that mission we had to blow up the ship, and the engine rooms in that game there's only one ship in the game right now, but they look incredible.
Yeah.
Like there's just that crazy like light beaming through the windows and like the engines spinning and shaking the ship, and like it kind of got hard to hear that thing coming at some point, and then we would just spin around and the robot would be right there. But like that was a really cool way to make us all have to stick together physically very close to each other for that whole run. Like it really changed the way we played the game so much.
And so what happened on that run was we were supposed to destroy the ship, right? So at some point we were all sticking together and moving very slowly, doing a pretty good job of it. I think we didn't really die much. And then we hit overloaded both engines on the ship, which caused the ship to just go into freak out mode, right?
Like everything. The game, it's just very cinematic game. Like the presentation of the ship being about to explode is like super exciting as you're running out of there.
And so the whole thing is shaking. We can't respawn anymore because the power's off on the ship. And as we're sprinting away, this robot has just gone ballistic and is just killing it. No more taking my time. It is just murdering everybody. I got murdered. Will got murdered.
I mean, it choke pointed us. It dropped like we were like funneling through a pretty narrow little passage when it dropped out of nowhere. And for whatever reason, I do wonder if they're like turning knobs on the enemies as the mission progresses to make them more aggressive and like give you less margin for error. Because single file going through that hallway.
Yeah. As we're sprinting.
Like you got your brain sucked out, and then Will got his brain sucked out, and there were no more respawns.
And then
the collision is intense in that game. Also, I literally could not get around you guys because whoever was getting their brains eaten and the robot were blocking me from getting around. But somehow I just managed to edge around the robot. And right before it got my brain,
sprinted into the airlock with the robot centimeters away, slamming the like airlock button and taking the ship off, which was
also you don't start with a ton of stamina until you upgrade it, which takes a lot of money to upgrade in that game. So I was constantly running out of stamina trying to get to the ship. I sat down in the pilot's chair and took off with 0.17 second left
before the ship exploded. It was pretty awesome.
It was
in
fucking
terms of video
rad.
game moments. And the second monster we pulled is one that does not have a lot of stamina, so you can kind of outrun it if you conserve your stamina, if you're not sprinting around the whole map.
Like it tires easily, so if you run from it for like 5 or 10, maybe less than 10 seconds, like it'll just kind of tire out and not be able to keep up with you.
And,
Just like me.
Right. And so I died my last death. There's a safe room you go into and hit the button where it closes all the shutters so the monster can't get in. I ran into the safe room, smashed the button to close all the shutters, spun around, and the fucking monster was in the room with me
That'll happen.
as the curtains were coming down, and I died. And then Brad soloed that guy.
And once again, you guys were both dead with no respawns. And
Yeah.
so that thing, you have to get an energy, like an electricity gun, and shoot it in the head with that gun to open the armor on its face to expose the vulnerable face under the face. And that thing has such a long wind up. It takes like 3 or 4 seconds of charging that gun up to shoot the electricity. So you have to get space from that thing to charge it up as it's running at you. What did it take me? 20 minutes of kiting that thing around the ship?
Maybe like 10 or 15. I don't know. It felt
Slowly?
like a slow
Methodical.
grind
Like
on that thing.
It's clearly meant for one person to be zapping it with the electricity to keep its armor open while the other people dump bullets into the soft part under the armor.
It's pretty tanky.
But instead, I was having to alternate, just zap it enough to expose the weak point for a couple seconds, pop off a shot or two, and then run again.
But the game just looks so good
It
while
really
you're doing
looks
it.
excellent. It's just a great looking game.
So it's early access. It's species unknown. It is like $10, and I think they need more monsters and more ships eventually.
Yeah. Although it's weird because there's like 6 or 7 monsters in the early access version now, and we keep getting the same like 3. I don't know if that's just pure random number generator, like that's just what we've pulled. But so we've still got plenty to see.
But I could see it losing some of its spectacle the more you get used to it, right? When you're just kind of running the numbers.
I'm kind of coming around on the ships not being randomly generated. Like the ship map is the ship map, but I actually think that might be an advantage because you do learn the ship layout, and that is another hill to climb. As you're always looking for ways to progress in a game like this, and learning the map so you actually know where you're going is one of those ways that you get better.
I think like 2 or 3 ship maps would be plenty.
Yeah. The early access maps or roadmap says the second ship is coming in the summer.
Yeah,
like I would love nothing more than for this to get as popular. I mean, this is really shooting for the moon here, but like if this got as popular as Phasmophobia and they were just like pumping maps, like ship maps and monsters into this game and like weapons, whatever, like other stuff for like years, like I would probably steadily play this for as long as they added new stuff to it.
It's got a very strong foundation.
Very strong.
So Species Unknown, you can go check out our stream we did on Monday, and you can check out the one we did before that. Pretty cool, very cinematic experience. It kind of nails, like no other game, the space alien threat of being overwhelmed. And
very dynamic.
Very cool monster of the week thing.
And very dynamic. Like every run was, as much as it feels like it should start to feel pretty cookie cutter, like every run was different, even with the same monsters popping up.
Yeah.
Like that ethereal monster we talked about last week that makes you try to look at it like that thing murdered us in a whole different way this week.
It sure did.
Than it did last week.
Very aggressive.
Because we were stuck in that flooded lab, and we had managed to freeze it and make it vulnerable, but it was still just cornering us and wailing on us.
All right. I think that's going to do it for the stuff we have played here or going to talk about for this week.
I'll just mention most of my time is still going into Silent Hill F. I will just say. Like
working on those endings?
I'm close to the end of my 3rd run in that now.
Okay, let me just, we should talk about it when you finish that 3rd run, but are you appreciating some of the new stuff you're getting?
Yeah, yes. Surprisingly, even like individual lines of dialogue or individual notes, I feel like are adding a lot to the 2nd run. I think I'm coming around on this like visual novel style of, hey, playing the same story multiple times, like it's actually additive enough that this is actually enhancing the experience. This is worth the time.
Yeah, as long as you can make that material compelling to someone who is coming back, like if you can do it the right way, I think that's a totally valid way to tell your story. It sounds like, this one particular writer is one that has been well known for doing this well prior to Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's rad to see that they like took a chance, frankly. Like it
Yeah.
really feels like it was kind of like a bold move to give a visual novel author a major horror franchise like this to do what they wanted with, and it's like a pretty unusual experience.
I'm hesitant at this stage, and we'll maybe talk about it a little bit as we get into the PlayStation stuff. I'm hesitant at this stage to completely change my view on the new Konami, which initially I was like, okay, they're back in video games, but how mercenary are they going to be? And I'll say, right now, all the indications say to me, maybe Konami is the most back they have ever been. I don't know.
That is like seriously the kind of the main thing out of that state of play, I want to say. Like somebody over there, we'll get into it after the break, is making some very good decisions.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk about was a pretty packed state of play. But first, we're going to go rest up. So we've got our game critics, analytic. Well, I don't know what we are. Talkers. We got to get our game talk face on to talk about this most recent state of play, which was kind of a banger. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and as promised, we are ready to jump into Sony's state of play, an unexpected barrage of announcements from Sony here. Sometimes their state of plays are not as dense or have things that I am interested in. This is not the case with this one.
Can I raise a point here about that in particular?
Yes, please. Sure. We have somebody in the back, Alex Navarro.
Yes,
Town
please.
Hall.
I have it's more of a comment than a question, but this is not unique to Sony. The Nintendo Directs sometimes have this problem too, though the thing about the Directs is that they are usually fairly direct about what will be on them at the very least before they come out.
It's right in the name.
It's not that I want them to do fewer state of plays. It's that I wish they were better at communicating whether state of plays matter or not. And I know I know to them,
I know
they all matter.
Yeah.
I understand. But for the number that they do, sometimes I think it's better to say, hey, we have some very major announcements, new games, a bunch of things from Konami or whatever. You don't have to give away what the announcements are, but like something that just indicates like, hey, this is a bigger deal than maybe the one where we're just like Mark Cerny is going to ASMR you about some new headphones we're making or something.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, well, in fairness, that one was framed as a like PlayStation technology presentation and not a state of play, but I 100% agree with you, and also this is an intractable problem because, like you said, they're never going to come out and say, like, yeah, this one's not so great. You can probably skip this one. But like they do, like that last one in November of last year, they said, hey, this is focusing on Japan properties or Japanese developers. So they like
so more of that is what I'm asking for.
Yeah, they do characterize it a little bit, but I absolutely get what you're saying. This might be the best state of play
in a while. It's certainly in a long while.
Looking like, sure enough, there was a Wikipedia chronicling every single state of play ever and everything that was announced at each one.
This was a good one.
The previous,
I would say top 10.
The previous standard bearer for me was the one from last June, which announced Luminous Arise, Final Fantasy Tactics Remake, or Remaster, the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection,
right?
A new Bloodstained, a bunch of like that one was my previous gold standard for. There's a bunch of shit at this state of play that I really care about, and this one might maybe have surpassed that. Like, it's not unsurprising, given that we know a lot of the people working in the parts of PlayStation that would be both signing these deals and also deciding what goes on this program.
Right.
And those people all have impeccable taste.
Impeccable. Never
like, it's straight up Peter Brown, downtown Peter Brown, finally got on camera on one of these things. Like, that
had not heard from that dude in a while.
That guy's got pull around there, and he likes good games. You know, like I saw one Giancarlo Vernini in the background of a shot.
Hard to miss, just a little head bob in there. Well,
a lot of people we know and have worked with are over there doing good stuff these days. But
we did tease some of this Konami stuff quite a bit leading up to our talk about state of play. So let's start there with the Konami block.
Yeah, that Konami block was nuts.
Where do you want to start with Castlevania?
I think frankly that Castlevania thing might be the most exciting thing at this whole thing.
Why don't you set up exactly what this? Well, let's talk about who's making it, right? This is Evil Empire and Motion Twin.
They said both of them are working on it, which is confusing to me.
They're both Dead Cells.
Yeah, the Motion Twin made Dead Cells and then split off Evil Empire at some point, and I was never 100% clear what that division was about.
And
Like
so,
I feel like it was portrayed as like Evil Empire is going to keep doing Dead Cells stuff, while Core Motion Twin does other stuff. As I might be misremembering that. There may
Are
have
they
also
still under
been,
the same umbrella?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, actually, I don't know.
Is it just a division, or is it like literally two companies?
I think there might have also been an aspect around ownership and kind of business model, because Motion
I remember
Twin,
something happened with Motion Twin, and
Yeah.
but it wasn't quite the. Why can't I suddenly bring that RPG that like split off into 5 different communist studios? Disco Elysium.
yeah.
yes.
No,
yes. No, but
It's
there
not
was
that.
there was an aspect of Motion Twin, I believe, was a co-op, like sort of employee owned, and then I'm not sure if that's the case for Evil Empire. I'm getting way out over my
So
skis
Evil
on
Empire
what the
definitely in the Dead Cells ish.
Yeah, they're both.
They did Prince of Persia.
They spun off of So maybe it is they're sticking a little closer to that core style of gameplay, and it very much could be a thing where Evil Empire is doing the heavy lifting on this, and Motion Twin is more supervisory.
And just looking at their pages here, Motion Twin is publishing stuff that Evil Empire is not publishing.
Okay, that might just be the extent of the involvement then.
And Motion Twin also worked on Windblown.
Yeah, that's their, which I think isn't still in early access, right?
Yeah, so they've got other stuff, but this has both their names on it, and this is not necessarily, despite what you might think by looking at it, a Dead Cells tie-in here, like they did with their Castlevania Dead Cells. But
yeah, Castlevania Belmont's Curse. I don't know if we've actually said the name of the game yet, but
It's Trevor?
No, it's Trevor's descendant.
Okay, because I heard Trevor in that trailer.
Yeah,
so,
they do. Yeah, so I thought the same thing, but I actually have the press release in my inbox
Trevor
here.
Jr.
it's 23 years after Dracula's Curse, or Castlevania Dracula's Curse.
Set in the streets of 15th century Paris. The vampire killer Trevor Belmont's successor and the game's protagonist must descend into the city, blah, 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 attacked by monstrous creatures and a looming mystical castle.
Okay.
So basically, and they harp on exploring the castle like 3 times in this
It's right
press
there in the
release.
title. It's Castlevania.
So, well, yeah, but the repeated references to the castle make me wonder if this is being made in the vein of a Symphony of the Night, let's say.
I would have to guess that it is, just by virtue of the fact that I feel like, as much as I love and maybe prefer older original Castlevania, Vinny, I'm kind of on your side on this
Thank
one.
you.
Symphony of the Night is the top of mind one for everyone. Like those DS games are the most like top of mind for a whole generation. So it's like it would make sense for them to go that route.
Yeah, like Symphony of the Night and Dawn of Sorrow are probably the 2 I think of the most these days. Like, I mean, the NES games and this SNES game and stuff are just kind of a different thing.
Yeah, great, a great different thing, but they are different.
And like I just said, I like a Metroidvania. I enjoy them. Depends on how they're made, not all of them are equal. Brad, does it say anything in that press release? My biggest question is just, this is not run based at all. That is what I am going with, right?
I certainly hope not, but yeah, no, there's no mention of that whatsoever.
Like nothing about that trailer gives the appearance of that.
No, not at all.
It's just kind of a explore the castle, probably get some upgrades.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this looks awesome.
Yeah, it looked really cool. And I thought of, as soon as I saw that, I was like, Vinny is going to be so happy.
A sense of exploration will favor the bold and those who dare explore every inch of the sinister castle. Like that. You could not more explicitly be saying, "Yo, this is like Symphony of the Night" to me than phrasing it that way.
That sounds right.
I mean,
like
the whip stuff looks cool. Like,
yeah. I mean, I have maintained basically since Dead Cells came out that it was basically a modern Castlevania anyway. So this is like perfect. This is a perfect evolution of this partnership.
So what this does look like to me though is more of a dexterity based action game, maybe a little bit more like, say, a Hollow Knight or Silk Song, where you are making timed jumps with your whip to kind of whip onto enemies and lasso and pull yourself.
Yeah, they talk in this press release about the whip is also now, I don't think they put it this way, but kind of a means of locomotion as well as a weapon.
Yeah, some of their
a way of getting around.
It's looked very kinetic, very fast, very agile.
This looks rad.
Yeah, looks very cool. And that's their That's part of their 40th anniversary for Castlevania, right?
Yes, and that's out this year, I believe. Yes, that is out this year.
But that's
Very
not
exciting.
all Konami had.
No.
Where do you want
Close.
to go to next?
I guess Silent Hill is probably
Sure.
the next biggest thing they had, right?
Silent Hill Townfall?
Yeah, which had been announced a while ago, I think,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
I had completely forgotten about that name, which is still very funny.
A return to first person Silent
No,
Hill?
they've
Or
never
a-
done first
a
person.
They've never done
departure.
it.
I don't
Okay.
think unless somebody's screaming at the radio.
It would have had to have been somewhere in one of those two Western Silent Hill games because it's definitely not in any of the main ones from 1 through 4.
There's probably some first person stuff in Shattered Memories, if I had to guess. Also, did The Room have some first person sequences, maybe?
I think it maybe there. Oh, it's been so long, but I maybe in the apartment
Right.
was
That's
in
kinda-
first person,
yes.
but I thought that was in third person still.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main point here is that like all the action is in first person in this, which is new for the whole franchise, I believe. But this is a totally different developer than other recent Silent Hills. Like, it really feels like they're just kind of anthologizing Silent Hill
Which I think is the smartest possible thing you can do with it at this stage.
and letting some like totally different, distinctive developers take a crack at doing their own thing with it. Which, yes, that seems extremely smart.
I mean, to a degree, it's what they tried to do with those Western games that like during the Wii and kind of, the PS3 era and stuff. But I just feel like that didn't work. Like they just didn't get the right. I know Sam Barlow made one of those, but
Yeah, that's Shattered Memories, which I liked a lot when I played it, but
people didn't take to them. And I think they just had the wrong approach for that. It seems like maybe they are just taking a more careful and getting some different kinds of talent for this run at it, which, I mean, again, and we'll get to it with this next thing as well. I think I'm ready to declare Konami officially back. Like,
Yeah,
I've been
yes.
very tentative about it up to this point because they burned me before. I certainly remember that last E3 where they just had a white brick on the floor with a guy in a chair out front.
Yeah.
And it
Well-
just kind of felt like they were there to do licensing deals and fuck off otherwise.
And I'll also remember that one of their executives like all but came out, or
Yeah.
maybe literally explicitly came out and said, "Hey, we're not making games anymore. Like, we're getting
Yeah.
out of that business." But that was like 10 years ago or something.
And something changed in the last few. I've just been very hesitant to be like completely embrace what this new Konami is, but it feels like they're serious.
Yeah, like it was one thing when they were just doing remasters, or in the case of Snake Eater, a remake of Metal Gear games, and there's more of that to talk about here. But like Silent Hill F for me was like, oh, this is okay. Like Konami put out, this is a serious game that has gotten me into a whole new franchise I had never paid much attention to. But that was one game. But then when you see this stuff, when you see the other stuff they are doing, it's like, okay, all right, somebody at Konami actually cares again.
I feel like the real test is going to come when and or if they do a new Metal Gear. Like, if they decide at some point they are going to try and take that franchise beyond where it was left off the last time Kojima touched it, I think that is going to be the ultimate, okay, do they have this or not moment.
That's the thing. Like that, a brand new Metal Gear without Kojima really feels like the third rail of Konami coming back.
Right.
And like, I don't know if you can do that or not.
Well, so far they haven't gestured that they're going to,
Yeah.
but they have some other things in mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Townfall, I mean, we should mention the actual game. Like, I think it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I looked up that developers made a couple of other horror games that seemed like they got mildly positive, like reasonably positive responses.
So that's Screen Burn.
Yeah.
And then Annapurna is listed on
Yeah,
here.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the Annapurna involvement is there.
Yeah. Maybe it's just some help along the way. I don't know either. But you mentioned The Room. Did either of you play that one?
I think I played-
4?
I have played some of it. I watched Bethany play a lot of
Okay.
it because she was reviewing it when I was reviews editor at GameSpot.
I think I might have previewed it or something. I do remember playing a chunk of it.
I didn't remember that one at all. It's a
It's
a
not
numbered
bad.
Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's
That's
Silent Hill
4.
4, and it's
Okay.
actually not bad. It's
All right.
different, and I think people were kind of put off by it when it came out, but I remember thinking, this is kind of neat. Like,
All
it had a novel approach to doing more of that.
First Resident Evil goes first person, then Silent Hill is first person, and what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
But like you were mentioning, Brad, this one is character Simon Ordell, and he winds up on a foggy island with static and a radio.
Yeah,
And
as happens, or not a portable TV actually.
Yes, one of those small, cool portable TVs.
Do they make handheld CRTs?
Like those little ones? I remember those ones on like kitchen counters.
Like the ones that are basically like you like had a handle on them and you could just like pick them up. Yeah.
Or
I'm sure
is
they
that
must
a
have made
CRT?
smaller.
Maybe it's not a CRT. I don't know what year this is set.
But he also looks like he is carrying baggage. And not just his luggage, which is the Silent Hill way.
Well, that's very unusual for these games.
Yeah, right.
But set in Scotland, also, I believe that's a Scottish developer, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, that's the cool thing, is like Silent Hill F is extremely Japanese in the 60s. Like, this is set in Scotland. Like, it's really cool to just see them cast a wide net and try different stuff.
So again, it should go without saying none of us are Silent Hill experts, but it sounds like we might be becoming Silent Hill fans. So
yeah. I mean, like
I've always admired them.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I like Resident Evil, it kind of makes sense that I should probably be into the other big survival horror franchise too.
All right, so Konami still going. You guys mentioned Metal Gear. They're not done with Metal Gear. They want you to finally get off your butt and play
it happened.
Play some Metal Gear
happened.
Solid 4. It's impossible. They'll never leave the PlayStation.
I've
3.
I've thrown that into the news kind of every time it's come up, just because I'm fascinated with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
The existence of a Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 implied an eventual Volume 2.
Yep.
And here we are, and sure enough, Metal Gear Solid 4 is in it. Finally.
Along with Ghost Babel.
Oh, was Ghost Babel in there?
Yeah.
Ghost Babel and one other one. I forget what the other one is.
Peace Walker is like a fairly big deal, although I think that came out on the PS3 at one point, so it's not the first time you could play that on a TV. But I played through Ghost Babel on the Game Boy Color when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Flying to my internship at GameSpot in 2000. Anyway.
MGS4.
MGS4 finally coming out on another platform.
They have broken the glass. In case of emergency, figure out how to make this go on a different platform, and they are doing it.
Yeah, I would love to hear a technical breakdown of what that involved, but I'm sure we'll never get one.
Do we get an install screen? Or
yeah, that's a good question.
Probably
they should optionally put it in there.
Yeah, like you should be able to skip it, but they should also have it there for as long as you want it.
They should, in fact, when you boot the game up for the first time, they should ask you, do you want to do a simulated install of this game and make you wait the full 20 minutes?
If Kojima was still involved, that would 100% happen.
He would 100% do that.
So, with some hindsight and a lot of Metal Gear behind you guys, what do you guys think of 4?
I don't know, because it's the one I've never touched.
Really?
Wait, really?
Okay.
It's the only one I've never the only one I've finished, I believe, was 3. But it's the only one I just never got into because I barely touched my PS3 around that time.
You realize admitting this out loud is going to make people demand that you stream yourself playing that game.
Absolutely not, because I have very little history with Metal Gear in general. Like I like them from afar, but I've never been the biggest Metal Gear fan, and so like I don't. This is not some like, oh, I didn't play it, despite the fact that I'm this huge Metal Gear guy. It's like, no, it's just never been my franchise.
Yeah, I mean, and like that game is the absolute culmination of literally everything in the franchise.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't take this. Hey, Dan, Drew? Yeah. No, he said he's good. He said he's good to do a whole series of all the Metal Gear games from the beginning. Yeah, no, I know. No, you guys got time? Good. Great.
You're paying me, right?
It's that's right.
I ain't doing that shit for free.
We'll do, one episode on Giant Bomb, one episode here. We'll split it up and it'll be a really
This is how you're getting out of paying me, isn't it? You motherfuckers.
Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of Navarro.
Yeah, so Brad, what do you think?
Like, how do I look back on that game?
Yeah, how do you look back?
I gave it a 5.
Narrative.
I gave it a 5 star. That might have been the first review I wrote for Giant Bomb. It was like 2 weeks after we started there or something.
That was the first 10 that GameSpot gave after we left, right? Because there'd also been a huge gap between 10s, I think.
That sounds right. Do you remember they lost our first review copy of that game?
No, I don't remember that.
Konami sent it again. This was literally like 2-3 weeks after we started at Giant Bomb. It was like the first review copy I requested of something, and it vanished in the mail.
No.
That was a rough one of having to go back to Konami and being like, hey, that game never showed up. Do you mind sending another one?
Anyway,
like, go on.
Do you feel like Do you feel like gameplay wise? I think 4 narratively is maybe one of my favorite ones. I think the audacity that they stuff that, but gameplay wise, I'm not so sure. Now that I've played future iterations.
Yes, having played 5 and Death Stranding 2, like what even that general group of people has gone on to do later, like I don't know that the gameplay would hold up amazingly well. I think it's probably serviceable.
It's probably the most exciting. It's probably the most Kojima.
It's the most movie-ass one of those like that they made, I think.
The sheer spectacle, especially being a relatively early PS3 game, it's just like, oh my god, they are going for it. This is like a level of insanity I have not seen in a video game before. I don't know how it would hold up now.
I don't know either. But like it's the thing I think that made the Metal Gear series. If I were to point to one in my mind, one that just puts everything together that makes Metal Gear ridiculous. It's 4, right?
Yeah. Like however much you can lament the fact that Kojima left Konami and lost access to this IP and blah, 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 like it doesn't feel like he didn't get the chance to like tell and finish the story.
Oh no. With the exception they made him tell more of the story that he had already finished by the time 5 came around.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of how rushed 5 was and how much of that apparently got cut out just to get it out the door because he departed rapidly. But like as far as finishing the series, like 4 really just ties a bow on everything.
So that I think that's very cool that that collection exists. Do you think there's a volume 3?
I don't think there's enough to do it with, frankly.
Unless they're going to go back and again remake 1 and 2 or do some other weird shit. Like, are they going to fucking somehow bust out Twin Snakes again or something? I don't know. Like, I don't know what else you would really like. The acid games, sure. Do something with the acid games.
Yeah, you might be able to get enough side games like that together to maybe do a volume 3, but it would feel pretty underwhelming once all the mainline games are done with.
Maybe they could do a like Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Gaiden or something for some of the extra pickup games. But yeah, I think that's cool that we have these collections now in playable forms for people who didn't have the chance to experience it, and now they can get it on their Switch 2, PS5.
Was Portable Ops in Volume 1? Like now I'm just thinking through how many games could they fill a Volume 3 with. Like
there was Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty,
it's 2
Metal
and 3.
Gear Solid 3, and then the Snake's Revenge and Metal Gear Famicom versions.
Yeah, those are NES games. I think could maybe do a Volume 3 with like, if they put Portable Ops on both acid games, and there might be like one other thing around somewhere they could shove in. That feels pretty thin.
Revengeance.
Yeah, technically, I guess. I mean, that's not technically.
It was a PS4 game, wasn't it?
No, it was a PS3 game.
Was that PS3?
Also, technically not an MGS game. That's Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. So
all right,
might disqualify it.
Well, but Metal Gear 1 and 2 aren't solid games, technically. I mean, even though they have Solid Snake in them.
If they put that in there, that would start to feel like a pretty compelling collection.
Yeah.
I would love to see a remastered version of Revengeance. I would love to see the highest res Senator What's-His-Fucking-Name that you can possibly give me.
I still have a 360 copy of that I bought at a Goodwill for like $5.
Great.
Near here that I've never played.
It's almost my favorite Metal Gear game.
Yeah, I should play that game someday.
I don't even like riding.
Slice up those high-def watermelons.
But I should play a lot of games.
That's Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. That is in August 27th on a bunch of platforms. Ain't missing a platform there. All right. I don't know if you guys, I certainly don't have too much to say about Rev Noir, another Konami trailer they showed there.
But again, they are putting out a lot of games.
Yeah. Like Konami's just making games again.
And then there was also tucked in there was Darwin's Paradox. I think that comes out in April. I believe they had shown that before.
Yeah, that had a demo launched alongside this.
So Belmont's Curse, Silent Hill Townfall, Metal Gear Solid Collection 2, and then Rev Noir and Darwin's Paradox. Pretty good Konami showing.
Yeah. For a thing that is a PlayStation showcase, there was a lot of Konami there.
Yep.
Yeah. Should we spin back around towards some other games here that were shown?
Yeah, we talked about the God of War thing, the Sons of Sparta side-scrolling spinoff.
Out now again.
My favorite moment of this whole state of play was just getting to see TC Carson ham it up.
Oh, man. Because, yes,
what a fun delivery.
he was hamming it up because God of War Trilogy was also announced.
Yeah.
Trilogy remake.
Yeah,
Trilogy
remake, yeah.
remake. I feel like the way the title rolled out was kind of making you think it was just a collection of the original games, and then they dropped the remake, so I guess it's going to be a full new thing, although they didn't show any of it.
No.
Speaking of PS3 games making it off that platform with God of War 3, though that's made up onto other stuff before.
But I assume they have to be bringing him back as the voice, right? They would not put him in this if they were not, surely.
I mean, he's in Ghosts of Sparta. I assume he's in. Sorry, Sons of Sparta.
He's narrating.
I
Yeah.
assume
he is
he's
the
the
narrator.
narration?
Okay, then
Yeah.
he must be doing the voice in this remake. Then that's cool.
I would hope
TC
so.
Carson seems so fucking happy, dude.
Like I kind of just want him to MC all of these streams from now on.
That is a dude I want to hang out with at a party.
He just seemed to be having a fun read on whatever script they gave him.
Yep.
Was just like,
You
just
could-
have fun with it.
I think he had 3
Having-
bullet points, and the
Yes.
rest of that was pure Carson, baby.
Having had to like look into a teleprompter before, I could very easily envision what was on the document and
Yeah.
what he was embellishing around it. Anyway, like we talked about that on the stream on Friday some, but like that seems like that could be cool with modern production values.
Yeah.
Sure. I like those games. It's a different time and place from when those games came out. The conversation has changed from the God of War times. Some of the criticisms, rightly or wrongly, of the time just seem so quaint now for what games were doing at the time. You know,
Well, what is it about them? They're kind of puerile, like they're
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
juvenile,
juvenile,
and very teenage boy idea of cool and violent and edgy, and it's like, but that's what those times were. Like, it's bizarre to talk about it that way because that is the era in which we came up in professional video gamesmen. But also that was like almost 25 years ago at this point. So what we are talking about is a different time, though, and it is a time when that was the default tone of a lot of things in video games. And even by those standards, like God of War, they were very fun games, but they were even a little like in-your-face edgy compared to even some of the other stuff around that time.
Yeah, I feel like making this remake less edgy would just kind of be missing the points.
Yeah.
I think it was back at a time when we can talk. The term toxic masculinity didn't quite have the same meaning as it does today in 2026, where I think the things that we talked about with Kratos, and we should talk about, what it means to rip somebody in half, or like this Kratos's masculinity problems, isn't quite full blown what we talk about today in those issues.
No, it's like, I'm of two minds about it. Like, I understand that in putting out this new professional polished version of these games, they will probably sand some of those edges off because they just, from a content perspective, they do not want to be putting out new products in 2026 that maybe has some of that stuff. But I also think that is denying what those games actually are and were. Like, they were the brainchild of David Jaffe, a person who definitely dealt in that kind of humor in a lot of his games and that kind of sort of like, ultra violence. But that's what they were. Like, that's what those games were always designed to be. It's not that I necessarily sign off on all that stuff and say, yeah, it's awesome. Like, think a lot of those sex mini games were even pretty fucking dumb back in 2004. But nonetheless, denying that that's what those games were feels like you are pretending God of War is something that it is not.
Yeah.
And moving to the Nordic region, I feel like was already you trying to get away from that stuff. But if you're going to try
and Kratos, like in the
Successfully.
story,
yeah.
Successfully, to be clear, but
Yes. They were good games, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they were trying to rebrand Kratos as something other than the asshole he was and trying to craft a new, more marketable asshole for the times.
Yeah,
but if you're going to make money off these products again, be honest about what they were.
Yeah. Like I said this on the stream, but like filing down the edge on this would kind of feel like telling people in like a Frank Frazetta illustration to cover up.
Yeah, like,
it's just
why?
like you're just like kind of removing however like silly and adolescent the soul of this is, you're kind of like pulling that out to tone that down.
I hope whenever they do to touch up what they feel makes them uncomfortable or things might make the audience uncomfortable, they do in a clever way and not just a excising way. Like, I think there are ways to probably work around some of the things that you might look at and be like, I just don't think this plays. And do it.
There's
in
a couple of
way.
moments in 3 in particular that I feel like are probably going to be things they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with.
Yeah, and we'll see how it all shapes up, because remaking 3 of those games is no small task. I don't know how this ships or when
that did
it
occur
ships.
to me. It's kind of a lot to put in. Maybe it's not one game. Maybe they're going to sell them all separately. I don't know.
Or what engine they do it in, or how this looks, or putting remake at the end there and not showing any footage leaves a lot of room for speculation about what this could be. I don't think you can come back and show up-resed God of War. I think remake means you have gone back and done remake work. And it was funny because I had a weird conversation with my son. I was talking to him about it because I was like, hey, when he had been asking about God of War stuff, and I was like, they're kind of older. I don't know if, getting out the system and doing all that stuff. They did up-res stuff, right? For God of War, a collection not that long ago, right?
There was some kind of collection. I want to say it was on... There was a God of War. Yeah, it was on the PS3. I think it was like a late PS3 thing, if I remember correctly.
I fairly remember that. And I was thinking about that. And then this announced, I was like, hey, man, like, they're remaking the God of War trilogy. You should just wait for that, right? If you want to play them. And then he was like, well, are they going to change the story? And I was like, well, they're doing a remake. I don't think they're changing the story. And then he's like, well, didn't they change the story in Final Fantasy VII? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess they kind of did touch the story there. And then he was like, was that not a remake? And I was like, no, it's remake right in the title. That is a remake.
But it's kind of a reboot also.
But I was like, it was kind of that's what I said. I was like, it was kind of a reboot. He's like, isn't it called remake? I was like, look, just play the damn game when it comes out. Let's stop talking about this. Anyway, that has no date on it. And it seems like it is Santa Monica Studios. So we'll see what they work on there. There's not a new God of War thing announced after they canceled that.
Not
whatever
currently,
that thing was. All right. That's the God of War stuff. Where do we want to go next?
It's just, I've got this IGN story in front of me. It's kind of a good tally of everything announced. Sure. I'm just going to go down the line for notable stuff.
Good.
There's a sequel to Kena Bridge of Spirits that was announced that looks pretty good.
Yes, I and 12 other people were like, "Fuck yeah!"
Well, I think that game had
at least 13
had its fans.
I really liked that first one. That was, if people don't remember, it was, I believe, made by ex-animators who had careers in animation.
Yeah, no,
and
it really showed, right?
It really showed, yeah, and it's very cute, and the gameplay was fun.
This sounds like this is way bigger. Like it looked that way from the trailer to me, and then sure enough, one of the founders of the studio said something like, "We've been able to like broaden our scope significantly in this one," or something like that. Like there's a shot of galloping across like a pretty big landscape that I don't know that it's Scars of Kosmora is the name of the new game, by the way. I don't know that it's like actually open world or anything, but they definitely made it sound like this is a bigger type of game than the first one.
I hope it hits. I didn't know if the first one really hit. Bridge of Spirits hit, but I really liked it. I didn't hear much about it.
I think it probably did pretty well. I know I didn't finish the first one, but I liked what I played of it. John Wick game from Saber. Anybody?
Actual John Wick game.
This is interesting, not just because it's another John Wick game, which whatever. I'm not surprised someone's taking another crack at that, because I think making a straight up action game in John Wick probably makes a certain amount of sense. What's more interesting to me is that Saber seems like they are starting to position themselves as the people who are bringing back mid to good licensed games again.
So yeah, like God, what was the Chow Yun Fat?
Stranglehold.
Stranglehold, yes, like that type of game, that type of like late PS2, early PS3, like action movie tie-in game is immediately what I thought of when I saw the footage of this.
Because they are also doing that Hellraiser game, I think, in-house.
Sure.
And that thing also just got a story trailer recently, if you want to not understand anything that's going on there, because none of you guys have seen Hellraiser before, but they do at least. You see Pinhead. But they seem like they are now going out there and like trying to fill that void of, hey, what about middle budget things that have licenses attached to them? Maybe we can do those.
Yeah, sure.
Like Toxic Commando.
I actually...
Sure.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. That sounds middle budget to me. You're right.
Okay, yeah, that's for sure.
I'm looking at their page now. World War Z VR, Toxic Commando. They put out that Ghostbusters game. They put out the Evil Dead game.
Yep.
They're doing
But a lot of that is
Turok
multiplayer.
Origins?
A lot of
Yes,
that is multiplayer, but I think what you're talking about here with a John Wick and certainly a Hellraiser is single-player experiences too, which is where the actual void has been recently.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder if this goes both ways, like kind of in the way that we're getting better video game adaptations to TV and film lately with like the Fallout show and, you know, some of the movies. Like because the people making those movies grew up with video games finally, we've gotten to that point. Like I wonder if the adaptations of like movie properties back to games are also going to start getting better now.
Hard to say.
For the same reason.
I mean, Saber is not always the most consistent publisher.
Yeah.
Like they obviously have put out some junk over the years too, but like whatever this current slate is and what it is they're doing, like say what you will about, I don't know if that Hellraiser game is going to be any good or not, but it is the most effort I have seen anyone put into a licensed horror property like this outside of a multiplayer environment in a while. They are throwing some money at that thing at the very least. And, you know, if they spend the money to do like a good John Wick action game, that seems like a natural fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sorry to bring this up because I know this just throws a wrench into everybody's brain as they try to turn the gears. Saber is independent. They have not been.
No, they are part of Embracer.
I saw your
believe.
faces all pale.
Yeah, we all did the exact same thing. I want to say they have been embraced.
Yeah, I am 99.9% sure they are part of Embracer.
I remembered them being embraced, but then I saw a blurb say they were
sold them. They were sold to Beacon Interactive.
Yes, they're under
during
Beacon
the fire
Interactive.
sale.
Right. Okay, that I had forgotten about that.
Okay.
So they are now technically owned by a different company, Beacon Interactive, but they are still Saber.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you, Saber. That is the John Wick game. No date announced for that as well.
How much appetite do you guys have for learning about Hellraiser before that game comes out?
I would definitely watch at least the first Hellraiser this October. When is the game coming out?
They haven't. It's this year. They have not given a date yet.
I just like plant my flag in the sand right now and say, sure, let's watch the first Hellraiser this October.
Yeah.
Okay, I might even lean toward the first two.
Okay, whatever you think is best.
If we can figure out a way, but if we can figure out a way to do that where we don't get out, remove other things. I want to be clear, there's like 13 of those movies.
Uh-huh.
You do not need to see the vast majority of them, but you do need to know what they are just to know how weird Hellraiser gets.
What if we could maybe start the horror run like midway through September and just create a little more space on the schedule? Oh, we'll see.
No decisions have to be made right now. Just want to put the bug in your brain for later this year.
All right.
It's Clive Barker, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they showed a bunch more Saros.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which I didn't watch a ton of because I really want to play Saros and it's coming out soon. So I was just like, all right, I'm sold. Returnal was rad.
Yeah.
This also looks rad. Except this is orange instead of blue now, but
that's the thing.
Still kind of similar.
The two colors.
Similar sort of game.
I like every time they show it, they lean into not just the action stuff, but there's the story stuff. It seems cool.
Like more story stuff because I didn't finish the first game, but I played a good chunk of it, and it was a lot of like the main character and not.
It's kind of a solitary experience.
Yeah. And this seems like it's got a lot more like a broader cast.
Mm-hmm.
But that looks cool. Control Resonant. They showed a bunch of gameplay from that.
Yeah. I thought that bouncing around on buildings was kind of like the gravity shift stuff.
That
was
gravity
cool.
power looked cool as hell.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, the rest of it looked maybe a little more Devil May Cry-ish than I was expecting. Like it kind of looks like a character action game.
That's kind of what I got from the first time they showed it too. But this actually made me more excited for it. I think the action actually looks much more, I don't know, solid, weighty or something. I mean, it's funny to say that and say Devil May Cry, which has a pretty fluid, floaty action thing. But I mean, it almost, okay, this is not to say this as a criticism because I actually liked what I saw. But what was the Prototype? Do you remember that game?
I remember that
game.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Almost.
How could I forget?
Almost a little Prototype-esque.
Sure. Yeah, I can see it.
With the running around the buildings. I think it's the running around on buildings and up walls and stuff like that.
Sure.
In this and the air combat.
Sure.
The kind of sitting in the air combat. Prototype.
Mm-hmm.
They're not making one of those right now.
No, this is Control.
Yeah.
Less narrative stuff in this one. than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, like story stuff is half the reason I'm there in a Control game.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that's the stuff you hold back because you know people are just going to devour that shit the second it comes out.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that Bond game looked okay.
Yeah, I have the same response I have to every trailer for that thing. It's like, yes, there's some cool stuff in here, and I can't wait for the next Hitman.
Yeah, sure. I will see how it turns out. It's not the first thing I would have wanted from that studio, but also I don't know that I'm ever going to fully be able to buy a James Bond this young.
Oh, that's not my issue with it.
But that might be cool.
I mean, they've showed a lot of gameplay so far, so I don't need a full gameplay demo of this thing. I mean,
there was a James Bond Jr., and as we all know, that's canon.
Yeah, it's canonical James Bond Jr. Gex, also, you know, clearly canonical.
Yes, yeah. James Pond.
James Bond, yep.
He died in the Light of Duty.
That game is not far away.
Yeah,
right?
that's also very soon. May? Didn't I think it got pushed to the end of May?
Yes, May, right? End of May.
I just can't get that excited about it. Like I bet I will play it and I will actually like it a fair amount, but it's probably going to be more the IO stuff than the Bond stuff that does it for me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I think people had a very similar feeling about Indiana Jones, right? And then that turned out to be more of its own thing than expected.
Yeah.
So maybe this will be similar.
Yeah.
Those Hitman games are pretty good.
They are. I still play them.
I thought Star Wars Galactic Racer looked rad.
Yeah, that looks all right.
Like it actually looks, just gameplay wise, like very good sense of speed. Like just looks like a good solid racing game.
Oh, they might have me on this one.
I will have to try that. Also, very how do I put this? Like the appearance of Ben Quaterneros at the end of that trailer felt very intentional.
Which one is Ben? Is that the guy with the face that's melting off?
The broad, mushroom? Like the broad diamond shaped kind of face alien.
Okay.
Probably you might say an ironic fan favorite from the Phantom Menace.
Okay. So
anyway, like
they know what they're doing.
I'm not even in the age bracket to have nostalgia for Pod Racer necessarily, but I just thought that looked really good.
Yeah. No, it looked cool.
So I might be into that.
Just give me good Pod Racer sounds. That's it.
Yep. That was probably most of the heavy hitters. A few other things I could mention here.
There was one more thing I would probably mention, which is just, you know, another new trailer for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, which looked pretty rad still, and now you've got some X-Men in there if you want them.
Yeah, I just assume that game is going to be huge.
I think it probably will be, barring disaster.
I thought it was cool to see that Neva has another game coming out, that one with the big wolf. I don't know if you remember that one. It was cool.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't watch the RE9 stuff at all because that game's almost out and I very much want to play it. I got about 20-30 seconds into the Pragmata footage and then turned it off because I think I have just fully decided I am going to stand that game. Like I think I may be developing like an irrationally optimistic sort of expectation around that. I hope that game's cool.
I don't know that it's irrational necessarily.
What I played of it at Summer Game Fest, which I assume is what they put out as a demo a while back. I didn't try the demo, but I think it's probably the same content. Like I thought it was actually very neat.
I also want to like that game. You've played it. There's something when they show it that like something about the sincerity of the characters rubs me the wrong way.
I thought you were. That's what I like about it.
No, there's something like
that feels just like with the John Wick throwback to Stranglehold stuff. Like the characters and story stuff in this game feel straight PS2 to me.
Maybe it's one of those things where I need to build PS3. That relationship, you know, from the beginning, jumping into a trailer with a very sincere dialogue with these guys, like, hey, what's this? You know, like this is where, you know.
I mean, one thing to note is I don't think anybody is convinced that little girl is human.
Like, no, I'm not convinced.
Why would you be?
Seems like a pretty strong expectation that she might be a robot.
I mean, doesn't she have like robot powers and
I don't remember.
Robot eyes.
I can't say for sure, but that's maybe that is just explicitly stated. I don't remember actually, but there might be an interesting dynamic there. But also like that weird cyber New York stuff looked really cool. Like I am just going to not look at that game again until it comes out and play it because it seems like it could be very cool.
It is explicitly stated in the summary of the game. Yes.
It is. Okay.
Hugh and his android companion.
Okay.
Diana.
Right. I forgot that they had just come out and said that then.
Yeah, like everything I look at when I see it, I really like it, and then when I hear them talk, I'm like, okay, I don't know, okay,
Maybe not.
Well, maybe no, or
why.
maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll build this relationship, and I'll love Hugh and Diana. What else? Did you guys have any reactions to the Rayman stuff? The 30th anniversary.
I've got nothing against Rayman, but I've just never been that into it.
Okay, I'm kind of with you. I'm just nothing.
Hey,
really
those
for me.
Legends games were great, but yeah, beyond that, I don't have that much attachment to Rayman.
Okay.
Digital Eclipse did that Rayman collection we should mention, which is worth noting because I assume it's probably like chock-a-block with old development materials and stuff. So it's always cool to see them doing another project.
There was one here that I don't know much about.
Okay.
But actually was like, all right, I don't know, this looks kind of cool. That Project Windless one with the chicken warrior. Did you see this? It's the Crafttown game or Crafton.
Oh yes,
game. It
Crafton.
kind of looked like a what is it? How do you say it? Musu game? Muso game.
Muso.
But it's billed as an RPG.
I kind of skipped over this actually.
It's
Oh yes, no, I know. Yes, I did see this. That really is a giant barbarian chicken.
right. Could be cool. I don't know.
That's interesting.
I don't know much about any of this stuff, honestly.
I like how he's just so much bigger than all of the like endless minions that he's fighting.
Hell yeah. It's
Sure.
Did you know it is set in the acclaimed Korean fantasy novel series, The Bird That Drinks Tears?
I know, but you might have my attention.
So yeah, I don't know. There were a couple of things that were outside of my wheelhouse that we might not mention, but that one, I was like, okay, giant chicken warrior.
That actually does look quite good. Now that you mention it.
And then that Shinobi game, well, not actual Shinobi, that was it.
It has the name Shinobi in it.
Yakoh, Shinobi Ops. Yakoh.
I don't. Was that an announcement? I don't think I was familiar with that.
That one was the one that said that these are like Tenchu people, right?
Oh, that would definitely make sense then.
Yeah, that seemed like a cool game. That also does not have a date though. I think that might even be 2027 for that one.
Yep.
But that was kind of it for me.
Mostly it. I mean, I have to mention Death Stranding 2 got its PC release date, which is about a month away, March 17th.
Ready to be a whole new slate of people's Game of the Year again.
Which is exciting. As I said back at Game of the Year, I get the sense that quite a few people held off on that game being locked up on the PlayStation 5. So, as someone who would like to read more people talking about it, I'm excited for that to come out.
That's not everything that was shown there.
Other stuff.
There was other stuff there, but those are some of I think our highlights from that. A very dense.
I mean, that's a lot for a state of play.
Especially a February state of play, like you guys mentioned. A June state of play is a little closer to an E3, where I feel like, okay, this is the summer broadcast of games. This is February.
Fair amount of that stuff coming out this year, though.
Some of it, yeah, for sure.
So
some of it just with 2026 dates, which could get pushed around.
Like I think all the Konami stuff, with the exception of maybe Rev Noir, but like Castlevania, Metal Gear, and Silent Hill are all out this year.
That's what they say. One other thing I'll mention before we move away from the state of play, Marathon, which breaks in less than a month here.
Gloss over that.
They continue to, I think, and I will accept the challenge on this, to really seem to be hammering the narrative aspects of Marathon. Like that trailer seemed extremely like there is a world and a story here to explore.
I'm sure it's there.
Which is great because that's what I want.
I don't know.
But it was a little less, I feel, like that trailer was a little less on the hardcore gun in action and a little more on, look at all these people you'll talk to and, here's what this world is, which is cool because that's what I like Bungie. I like their world building.
Yeah. I'll see how they roll that stuff out. I still worry it's going to be a lot of just like reading like codex entries kind of between matches and stuff. We'll see. I mean, it seems like there's some cutscene stuff in there, but
yeah. I mean, that's what their first Was it an alpha or the closed
It was
beta?
an alpha that they ran a while back.
But yeah, that game is soon enough to figure that out.
Yeah, that's out in like 2 weeks actually now. But
and I think they're having their server slam. In like
okay, you know what? I got to give them that. That's a good name for a beta.
Sure.
Server slam.
Stress test.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I just like deep storytelling in a multiplayer only game like that has always just felt kind of square peg round hole to me.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they found a way to integrate it in a way that makes sense.
What'd you think of they're not the same game, but the Destiny stuff kind of walk the
well,
line?
They've got the hub there that kind of helps flesh that stuff out a little bit because you can just run around talking to people
with like persistent characters.
Yeah, like if it turns out there's like a ship hub in this that's got some more storytelling built into it, that would be cool.
That's not just a UI.
Yeah, but I'm not expecting that.
All right, let's move on to a couple of other stories here. Some quick hits. We've talked about a lot of the RAM shortage stuff now affecting what it seems like to be some of the hard drive shortage, basically some shortages of silicon in general. Brad, what's Valve saying about their Steam Deck? We talked actually explicitly about Valve saying their suite of releases will be affected by this.
Yeah, last week we talked about that they have messaged that Steam Machine and Steam Frame, they still don't have release dates or prices for them because of this mess. It just feels like we're going to be doing some version of this every week for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Steam Deck is starting to sell out, and they have posted a message saying Steam Deck OLED may be out of stock intermittently in some regions due to memory and storage shortages. Steam Deck LCD 256 gigabyte is no longer in production and once sold out will no longer be available. So, like even older devices that you are just taking for granted that you can kind of buy whenever are probably going to start getting pretty scarce.
Do you think that's a vicious cycle where then some people, maybe more unscrupulous people, start buying them to sell secondhand?
Maybe.
And they sell out faster?
There's always scalping problems, I guess.
Well, there is, but I feel like right now everything is so fucking expensive and everything is so fraught that I feel like even the scalpers are probably going to have a hard time getting enough supply to make that worth their while.
Like the effort
yeah, it's probably just not worth what the actual profit margin would be on that.
I do think it is I don't know about scalping and secondhand prices on this stuff, but it is probably a little riskier depending on how long the shortages last, because, you could have a refresh of the, Steam Deck in a year and a half that would drive those old ones down in price if things mellow out. But I'm not sure things look like they are resolving anytime soon.
No, it's going to get worse, I think, before it gets better.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Brad, do you wish you had bought a Steam Deck or you're good?
Nope.
All good?
I like mine.
Yeah.
I got to switch to. I'm fine.
Seems great.
I'm just not a handheld guy, though.
Can I interest you in an AYN 4? It's pretty good. Pretty cool. 2 screens.
Switch to, I think I'm good as far as having a thing to play while I travel.
Okay. All right. Alex, our last story here about the Resident Evil movie.
Zach Kreger.
Zach Kreger is a Resident Evil fan and is just allowed to go do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean, the crux of this story is that, Kreger has been on record previously saying that he was not going to just retell the stories of the Resident Evil video games for whatever his new Resident Evil project is. And this is basically them reiterating that, saying it's a completely different story. It does not have any of the main characters from the Resident Evil video game franchise in it. There is a line in here from, I think, the studio head that is working on this, Oliver Bourbon from Constantine Film. We consider filmmakers as an IP. Besides existing video game, comic book, or comic IPs, what have you, the biggest creative power you can have is a AAA filmmaker and a package that combines those filmmakers with great cast and great ideas. That's what we're aiming for.
What's wrong with people?
This language should never have breached video game containment. AAA filmmaker. Really, I don't know why, because I know what they're saying. Blockbuster filmmakers exist, but it just turns me inside out somehow.
I fully get where you're coming from, but in the era of AI filmmaking, struggling desperately to become a thing.
Sure.
Like, to be frank, this is like, I almost feel like I'll take what I can get here. Like, at least this guy is celebrating a human filmmaker making something actually creative with his own brain.
Yes, the bar really is that low, and this person is clearing it.
But the language, the adjectives used to describe that person as an IP is maybe
the Zach
unnecessary.
Kreger IP.
You know,
The Kreger-verse. He's made 2 movies, people. Like, they were good movies. I enjoyed them, but come on.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of other stuff outside of that,
I know.
too.
The Whitest Kids You Know and stuff, yeah.
I liked in the story that let's see, where is this from again? From Video Games Chronicles, that has an older Zach Kreger quote, something along the lines of, "Hey, if you want to play Leon's story, you can play the games. It's right there for you. I want to try and do something else," which is I'm 100% down with.
Oh, totally. I am too. And the reason for it is every Resident Evil movie that has tried to hew close, and I'm not counting these like CG animated stuff or whatever, I'm talking about the actual live action movies. The closer they hew to the video games, the worse they are. Like that has been the universal constant for the Resident Evil movies, is that when they try their own wild shit, it's not always good, but at least it's like kind of interesting. But as soon as they start trying to remake the games in any way, they just flail. And I think it's better that he just do his own thing with some of the universal elements that we all know. There will be zombies. There will probably be a nemesis or something like it somewhere in there. There will be an Umbrella Corporation. Beyond that, do whatever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember reading that he was like a huge Resident Evil fan back in the day, you know?
Yeah. He's the right age group for it.
Right. It's just like with the Fallout, you know, like the Fallout TV shows, showrunners, like the main one grew up playing Fallout purportedly. Like it just feels like we're in that sweet spot now, which is cool.
Yeah. And as long as you keep doing interesting stuff with it, by all means.
Oh, Zach Cherry is in this movie. That's cool. I hadn't looked at the casts, actually.
You have to have enough respect to know when to leave the franchise alone.
You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Yes.
I guess this has finished shoot. Well, of course it's finished shooting. I think it's out this year, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's out in September. That's cool.
Yeah. Resident Evil.
See how it goes.
Is it getting theatrical release, do you know, or is this?
I think it is.
Have to imagine it would.
Okay.
I think it is. It's not like a Netflix original or anything like that.
Okay. Do you give a cameo to Mila Jovovich? That's name's not coming out of my mouth.
I think that's something you do if you get to make another one of these as a joke. But you don't have to. But you don't
just
have
put her
to
in
do
as
that.
a zombie. Put her in as a zombie. That'd be
She's
fun.
probably down. She seems game for most things, you know.
All right, that's the news. Again, really good PlayStation Direct. A lot of fun stuff there. Let's move into emails. Email address is podcast@nextlander.com. Podcast@nextlander.com. Podcast@nextlander.com.
Perhaps you've heard of it.
You can send us emails. I'm sure we got everything 100% correct in talking about all those franchises from the State of Play. So no need
That's
to
why
email.
we don't do we don't do corrections anymore.
Don't send corrections because there aren't any.
They just go right into the bammer there. No need to send
God's
those.
perfect angel, and I've never been wrong.
Your favorite franchise that we absolutely nailed, talking about its complete history. No need to worry. We got you covered. Brad Shoemaker, what do we got in the email bin?
Jay from Ontario writes in on the subject of 3DS longevity,
Ooh.
which I think we talked about in relation to your Thor and stuff.
My Thor.
Mm-hmm. Your Thor.
There.
This isn't exactly news, but if you want to lose sleep over it,
Oh boy.
even if you maintain your 3DS really well, its cartridges will eventually expire thanks to Nintendo switching to flash memory instead of mask ROMs for storing game data.
Oh.
The manufacturer, so he goes on, the manufacturer Macronix claim that the data is good for at least 20 years, but some cartridges have already started failing much sooner. People on the internet claim or hope that periodically playing your 3DS and Switch carts will refresh the flash cells and lengthen their lifespan. But so far, the claims are purely speculative based on the massive Nintendo data leak from 2018, where the existence of refresh commands were discovered. There's zero evidence it actually happens or that it applies to every data segment. I had not heard of this before.
I had not either.
This seems crazy.
Cart rot.
Cart rot.
It's a real thing.
Bit rot comes for all data.
That's it.
God help us if we lose our 3DS games.
Not saying that this is in any way a silver lining, but it's not the hardware it's not the 3DS itself. It is the software.
Yes. Also, like at this point, I feel like you're probably ethically entitled to go get a flash card and at least download ROMs of the games you own.
Yeah.
You would think.
If you can't play them anymore.
Nintendo might disagree with you, but
I don't know.
I'm not
sure. I don't know what the legal protection is there, but
I don't know that there is much of one, to be honest with you.
I'm backing up my games. The Nextlander podcast told me about this bit rot. I need to back stuff up and my saves that are not on the cart. They're not on the cart?
No, they're on the system.
No, they're on the system. All right. Another email.
Jake from Newcastle.
Okay.
This email's for my favorite pop culture old heads.
Okay.
Like Alex, especially here. I can kind of speak to this. Did you see that Megadeth did a cover of Metallica's Ride the Lightning on their most recent album? Nobody else in my life would care about this, but it feels like something that would have caused a metal civil war in the 90s.
Yes.
Or was this Megadeth versus Metallica rivalry never actually that big of a deal? I was Team Metallica as a kid, but in my older years, I definitely started to appreciate the whimsy and silliness of Megadeth more. Also, Mustaine puts like 10 times more riffs into every song, and I've always admired musicians who aren't afraid to drop the greatest riff you've ever heard after one bar.
So, it was not overstated. Megadeth and Metallica definitely very famously did not like each other as entities for a very long time, mostly because of all the animosity Dave Mustaine had for them.
So that's the thing. Was it both? Did it go both ways, or was it more like, I always thought it was more like Mustaine hated them and they probably kind of just didn't think about Megadeth at all?
Well, it's that self-feeding thing, though, right? Is if there's a lot of hate coming from one direction, naturally that builds more animosity on the other side over time. I mean, as we saw in Some Kind of Monster, which is available on the Watchcast right now, there's more guilt, I feel like, between Hetfield and Ulrich in particular when it came to Mustaine, I think. But Mustaine is also, kind of a legendary asshole. Like, he's been talking shit about Kirk Hammett basically since the day he left that band and never stopped. And it's always in this very condescending, like, it was nice of him to take the riffs that I wrote and, like, keep them going all these years, like that kind of shit. So, like, I don't think any of that is overstated. What I do know is that in the last decade or so, they at least mended fences enough to where they were appearing on bills with each other and they were starting to do things. I want to say he was claiming still, though, I think he wrote Ride the Lightning. I don't remember if that's 100% true. I know he said he wrote everything on Kill 'Em All, but like, I think he said at least some of the later guitar parts ended up on the next album, I think were written by him. So he may be doing this almost as like a little fuck you of like, hey, by the way, I'm going to cover that song I wrote. I don't remember if Ride the Lightning is one of the ones he wrote or not.
Yeah,
but
he is listed as a writer.
Okay.
He does have a writing credit on Ride the Lightning, along with Hetfield, Ulrich, and Burton.
So that's like a very funny thing for him to actually do in the grand trolling tradition of Dave Mustaine.
Considering the entire lineup of the band at the time got a writing credit on that song.
Totally. And again, and triply funny because of just, there is no Megadeth that is not just Dave Mustaine. Like, he has just cycled through dudes so many times over the years that when you are talking about Megadeth, you are really just talking about him.
Yep.
He's 64 years old.
Yep. And he is retiring soon because I think he has chronic arthritis, so he is not going to be playing for too much longer.
All right, then. It's a pretty definitive answer.
Yep, that's the best I can give you on that subject.
All right, maybe one more email?
All right, one more. Jacob in Austin. What's the best bag of chips to have with a sub sandwich?
Oh, man. All right, easy. What's I can't remember the brand, but it's the sea salt and vinegar. The Vicky or the what's the fancier brand?
I feel like there's a range of like kettle cooked chips and
kettle
stuff
cooked,
these days that have.
But it's the blue bag. It's like the blue
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's my pick.
I love a sea salt and vinegar chip, but I tend to find it's a little too dominating when I'm eating other stuff. It takes over too much.
I think there's no one size fits all answer. I think it depends on the sandwich.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think salt and vinegar is a strong one, but yes, it is very in your face.
Yeah, it's delicious. Don't get me wrong. I tended to lean toward more of a lighter chip when it comes to eating a sandwich. Like, you want something that's a little bit more airy and a little bit more crisp. So I used to get a lot of like baked Lays in varying flavors. Sometimes just regular
Yeah.
potato chips, something like sour cream and onion or something like that. That usually fits pretty well, I feel like.
I was a big baked Lay's aficionado
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. If you wanted like a healthier chip,
I think a baked Lay's is a fine chip for a sandwich. I think a regular little bag of Lay's sucks. I think that
I agree. A standard Lay's potato chip is extremely mid.
It's the worst chip. It's like something you
it's not
find
the
under
worst,
a couch.
but
yeah,
it's totally middle of the road.
I agree. I don't think it's actively bad, but it's probably like number 8 or 10 on my list that I would seek out. But if that's what I've got, then sure.
If it is the only bag of chips up on the board when you are buying a hot dog at a Little League game, sure,
Yeah.
I will eat those chips. But
I'm
never going to choose
pretzels.
it.
I might choose a bag of
Ooh,
pretzels
no way.
over the
No
Lay's
way.
over a standard. There's like, first of all, there's like
I love
6
pretzels, don't get me wrong.
There's like
I don't-
6 or 7 chips in the bag. 90% of them are guaranteed to be broken, and they basically just look like something that you found stuffed under a couch.
I don't think I would take mass market crappy pretzels over like literally anything.
Really, just a bag of good old pretzels.
Just
I
so
love
boring.
pretzels.
Oh, I've picked
So
pretzel
boring.
sticks. You don't even have to twist them in a knot. You don't even have to do 90% of the work on a pretzel. I'll take whatever. I love
I'll just take a bag of salt. Just give me that. I'll just fucking put that shit in my mouth. I don't care.
I think
That's too good for it.
I think Miss Vicky's is probably the brand you were thinking of.
That's what I was maybe thinking of.
Kettle is another one that's like a high end chip. I like the jalapeno Miss Vicky's chips.
Yes, or
Those are quite good.
There's a habanero one, I think, as well. Maybe that's the kettle one. I was going to be my second choice. I think you're right, Brad. I think it really depends on the sandwich.
Yeah. I also go ahead.
I would say the only other one I think actually does not fit is a Dorito. I don't think I love Doritos, but I don't think Dorito is a good sandwich aligned chip.
Yeah. I think Doritos like a thing to eat by itself, I feel like.
Yeah. You're there for the Dorito,
like-
not as a side.
It's like a Dorito bag of Doritos and a soda is kind of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I understand the portioning of these things. They're mostly like 120 to 140 calories. The portioning of those little
yes.
bags. They're just so not satisfying to me. I like. It almost leaves me if I'm not having a sandwich with it. Right, a sandwich and the bag of chips. Okay,
Sure.
A bag of chips on its own as a snack just leaves me in a dark place.
We're talking about the little bags. We're not talking
The
about like a
little
big
bag,
bag
yeah.
of chips.
No.
I'm with you. I think I'd rather not have any at all.
I think I'd rather
than
not. Yeah.
That's
an
how they
amount that
get ya.
small.
Yeah, right. If I'm just having that bag of chips that tide me over or to sate some kind of snacking urge, it just leaves me on a darker path of murder.
That kind of thing is the absolute worst thing to eat when you are hungry.
Yeah, right.
Like it is the absolute worst because, like you said, it's not going to satisfy you, but it's a terrible thing to stuff your face with
Yes.
ad nauseum.
Yes, it's a mean trick.
Like
Is
you
what
need-
it is. They're mean.
You need to just eat something like filling and healthy and ideally like protein heavy, and then have a few chips with that.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to be hungry, but you're also not going to eat 1,000 calories of chips.
Oh, whoever made those little bags and gives them out as their own standalone thing. Pure evil. Monsters.
I think I would pair salt and vinegar with like a Reuben.
Okay.
Yes, I could see that working totally. Because that cuts
with the-
through the very meaty flavor of something like a Reuben.
Kind of goes with the sauerkraut.
I was thinking more like a tuna sub, like
Yeah, it works.
yeah.
Sure, I could see it.
The one other chip that comes to mind that I am partial to is I think it's the Kettle brand, like the salt and pepper.
Oh yeah,
Those are good.
real good.
Those are good. That's a good solid middle of the road chip.
That's a good I put that maybe with like an Italian sub, something with like a little kick in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, now we're getting down the hungry path. again.
Now we have
Now we have to stop this podcast.
I have
so
got
I
to
mean-
eat.
Mhm.
Proceed.
Thank you very much for your questions. Again, that email address is podcast@nextlander.com. And that is going to do it for our show this week. There are many games out now. I feel like I went from catching up on some older games like Silent Hill F to being immediately behind on games I would like to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to finish up that Sons of Sparta game, but there's tons of stuff out there, and we have Resident Evil Requiem right around the corner. I think March looked a little lighter in terms of big, heavy releases, but plenty of stuff.
Marathon is out that first week.
Yeah.
There's that Star Trek Voyager strategy game coming out soon.
Yeah. Okay.
There's definitely still stuff.
Still stuff for sure. But yeah, I have some catching up to do. And that Replaced game is coming out. out in March. But that's going to do it for our show here. If you missed anything that we talked about, of course, go check it out. Go check out our Heart of the Forest initial venture into the forest, the FMV game we talked about. Come to your own conclusion. Maybe we're overly critical. Maybe you can go in there and be like, no, this is what happens in the Black Forest. This is real.
This happens all the time.
This happens all the time.
We are constantly losing 20-somethings in this forest.
Because they don't fill up their canteens. It's a real problem. If you want to go check out Species Unknown and the drama and spectacle of that, you can go check that out. That archive is up as well. This Friday, I have been banging a drum to get you guys back into Helldivers 2 to go visit Cyberstan and the war that rages there against the they're not mutants, they're cyborgs and the automatons, and gear up, let's go, jump in a tank. So we're going to do that on Friday. So check that out. Alex, what's going on in Watchcast land?
We are ambling toward our conclusion for February. Sexy Beast will be up next week. Fargo is up now for our patrons. It will be available to everyone next week. And on next week's show, we will absolutely announce what we are planning to do for a slightly truncated March schedule.
That's right. We will be off in March. Alex will be gone for slightly longer, but we will be taking our quarterly vacation in March. So we will be a week without streaming in March. So get ready for that. Mark your calendar towards or nearer the end of March. The Watchcast you can find over at patreon.com/Nextlander, along with a bunch of other stuff. We got never been a better podcast. Scheduled. We'll be recording that. That'll be up towards the end of February, but you can go find all of the archives of that show up there, the Planoramas, the Ramblecast, all that fun stuff, even for everybody out there, the unedited versions of our 80s TV cartoon intros. You can find over at patreon.com/Nextlander, where you can go and support us. You enable all these fine things to happen by choosing a tier, supporting us. We can't thank you enough for it. A lot of people have been with us for a long time now. We really can't do this without you. So find a tier that is right for you. Maybe it's the Mysterious Benefactor tier.
We'd love it if it was.
The tier that gets their name read on this here show. Again, some names you will recognize from longtime supporters. We appreciate you all. And thank you for sticking around. I'm going to read our Mysterious Benefactors right now, starting with, I live in Minneapolis and am running out of good vibes to send. Alpha Rhythm, Ennui Felicitous Rips, David L., Kelly F., Brian Lucier, Skywarp, Jason Grimm, John Hubbard, Thordreen, Evan Cook, Jerry Lee, Deirdre bought a car, beep beep, Pugtato, The Blip, Jad Rita, Statics, sending good vibes back to Minnesota and beyond. Brian Murphy, Randy Duax, Randy Alderson, Andrew Tiebkin, Alex Wu, It's Me JP, Edward Chick, Andrew Slosky, Steve Lynn, Matthew Herrig, David Campos, and Tyler Treese. Those are all folks in the Mysterious Benefactors tier. They, along with many, 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 many other fine people, are supporting us on patreon.com/Nextlander. You could be one of those people if you're listening to this podcast. And I know, because I see the numbers, there are people listening to this podcast who have not, or once were maybe, a Patreon subscriber. You can go there, patreon.com/Nextlander. Keep it going, folks. Keep that ball up in the air. We appreciate your support. Couldn't do it without you. And we're going to end this show.
Okay.
I don't have any chips in this house.
What? Not a chip?
That's a problem.
You know what? We talked about it, and the reason it reminded me that those little bags are the devil's droppings is because my son came back from a party with his friends and brought one of those freaking mega packs of those little snack bags, and they were sitting in the house, and I had one, and I was like, that was a mistake.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
I'm going to just throw these in an incinerator.
Okay, well, you don't have to do that.
That's where they belong.
What if you just ate all of them?
That would also be a mistake.
That would be a way of getting rid of them.
Yes, but that would be the worst way to get rid of them. A satisfying conclusion nonetheless. Like this podcast, a satisfying conclusion nonetheless. Alex Navarro, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brad Shoemaker, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What do you think? We got one more Species Unknown streaming us? That keeps so good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like I said, we still haven't seen like half the monsters.
I know.
It seems like luck of the draw what you get, so there's still stuff for us to do for sure.
Yeah. That's a fun game.
Gotta get those stamina upgrades.
Find out next week or on next week's podcast. If we talk about it more, we'll be back with possibly that and more. Did I say next week yet? Because I meant it.
Say it again.
Next week. Bye.